Football season and week 2 of the playoffs. We're live here tonight at Unioto High School for a round 2 matchup in Division 4 Region 15 featuring the 10-1 Tigers of Columbus East and the undefeated Unioto Shermans here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Welcome into tonight's game. Carson Francis and Shane Combs with you tonight. Shane, we've talked about this all week. Two teams on paper that have had kind of similar seasons, similar backgrounds before this season. Coaches have been at their respective schools for the same amount of time. Programs have been on a similar trajectory. They clash on the field tonight, and this is, to say the least, an exciting game for week 2 of the playoffs.
No, there's no question about it. And great to be with you as always. And I love the way you describe that. Two programs that over the last 3 or 4 years been able to do a lot of winning. This year, both teams, 10-win teams with Unioto 10-0. And then obviously Columbus East picking up its 10th win last week in round 1 of the playoffs. And you've got an SVC champion in the Side Valley Conference. You got a Columbus City League there in the North Division. That is a City League champion. So everything that you watch on film, everything you look on the stat sheet, everything you start to break down, it kind of looks pretty even. And that's what you'd hope you get in Week 12 is a great football game.
Let's take a look first at the Unioto Shermans, who had a bye in round 1. They did not play last week. 10-0 for the first time in school history, looking for just their second playoff win ever, their first one coming back in the COVID season of 2020. You talk to a lot of people that say that this would be their first playoff win that really counts. You know, that year everybody got into the playoffs. Now this year, Unioto, again, they've had to earn their way here. 10-0, obviously, a lot of people would agree they've earned the right to be hosting in Week 12, earned that bye, but now they got to prove that they belong in the postseason once again. They haven't had the greatest success in the postseason on their home field, to say the least. This is a great opportunity to change the narrative.
Well, I think what people forget, Carson, is Unioto hasn't had a real rich tradition in football when you go back 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And so a lot of what they've been able to accomplish here in the last 10 to 15 years is a little bit new territory. And when you go through that as a program, each step becomes a new challenge. And as you said, Unioto's been able to get to this stage here a little bit, and now here they are with the bye into Week 12. The privilege of playing at home in front of what's going to be an incredible home crowd here on this near side. And I'm sure they're excited. I'm sure they're wanting to challenge themselves and see if they're up to that task. On the other side, I'm sure Columbus East obviously comes from a tough schedule and a very athletic group. They're going to come down here and present quite a challenge to Unioto.
Yeah, and you talked about how Unioto didn't have the richest tradition on the football field. And, you know, what I was talking about when we opened up, the same could be said for Columbus East. You know, before head coach Mike Bell took over the program in 2020 after he came over as an assistant at Columbus Centennial, his alma mater, they had only made the playoffs one time ever. Coach Bell takes over in 2020. 3 years later, or in his third season in 2022, leads the program to its first 2 playoff wins, and they've made the playoffs in each of the last 4 seasons now. So, again, on that side, the trajectory of this program is on the up, and now they're playing with something to prove tonight here as well.
Yeah, no question. You turn the film on, there's a lot you like. They're big up front, but they're extremely athletic across the entire lineup on both sides of the football. Their speed sideline to sideline will be very impressive on the defensive side, and then they got a bunch of home run hitters on the offensive side. Going to present quite a challenge to this good Unioto defense.
Player that sticks out to me when we talk about home run hitters for Columbus East is the 6-foot senior H-back Tajon Royster, who through the course of the season has accumulated over 1,700 all-purpose yards, 13 touchdowns. He's going to Youngstown State next season. Certainly a dynamic all-around player for this Tigers offense.
Yeah, it really is. They'll line him up in a lot of different ways. They'll throw him the football short. They'll throw it to him long. They'll hand it off to him on the jet sweep. But but you can't get your eyes just locked in on him. You know, in studying this team this week, they've got 6 players who's had a rush of 30-plus yards this year. They've had 6 players with a reception of 38-plus yards. So when you talk about the home run hitting ability, obviously Royster starts or leads that pack, but they have plenty of weapons that could really impact this game on any given snap.
Now let's take a look at Unioto, a team that we've seen a lot of times this year where they've also got a lot of dynamic playmakers. Guys like Cody Braden, the SVC co-running back of the year, shared that award with Bryce Johnson, who we saw for Zane Trace last week. And then you can't forget about the wide receivers, Jackson Zikafus, Jack Welch, Levi Beam, Braden Harsha, who's had a really outstanding year. All those guys capable of making plays for the Shermans offense, with the quarterback play of Isaac Coy as well.
Well, you're right. Coy's the leader of it all there under center, and then you highlighted so many of those athletes. They too. I mean, Unioto, 10 players with a rush of 18 or more yards, and then 8 players with a reception of 22 plus yards on any given play. So yeah, you start rattling off the athletes. They like a lot of teams have had some injuries, particularly at that running back position over the last 2 years. But because of that depth and because of a really, really good offensive line that we'll highlight throughout the evening, they've been able to make it work.
We will quickly step aside and listen to the playing of our national anthem from the Unioto Marching Band. We will be right back. Once again, the Unioto High School Marching Band playing our national anthem tonight as we stand at just under 12 minutes till kickoff here in this second round playoff matchup in Division 4, Region 15. And while we do that, we'll take a quick look at the rest of the playoff bracket in this region. Shane, to say the least, it's a stacked region that we've got here, Division 4, Region 15. The winner of this game has the potential to face the number 1 seed, New Lexington, next Friday. But New Lexington's also got a tall task ahead tonight on their home field, facing Fairfield Union, a much improved team from Week 1 and also in Week 2, where New Lexington beat Fairfield Union 26-6, the final there. The other side of the bracket, another area team, Circleville, who just got their first ever home playoff win last week. Doesn't get any easier for the Tigers. Now they head on the road to face Grady Kinsey and the defending Division 4 state champions, Indian Valley. Definitely a tough one for the Tigers there. And then the other side of that bracket as well, Jonathan Alder playing host to the Johnnies of Johnstown.
Well, any time you get into this final 8, and then obviously if you're lucky enough to move into to Week 13, you're starting to get into some elite competition. And those teams you rattled off have had some great years. You mentioned Circleville in the job they've been able to do, finishing up the regular season with a big win over Bloom Carroll, and then into the playoffs, riding that momentum. Certainly some really good matchups, not just in Division 4, but in all the divisions. And I'm excited to be here for this one tonight, because I think out of all of them, we have one of the really good ones.
Yeah, and going back to that Circleville-Indian Valley matchup, just want to familiarize the people who are watching tonight. I mentioned the name Grady Kinsey. A lot of you guys might not have gotten a chance to see Indian Valley this year or heard that guy's name. Let me tell you, this guy is putting up a record-setting season. Don't be surprised if he's in the Mr. Football conversation. 1,895 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns, got a chance to set numerous state records as well. But we wish all of our teams in our SOSA coverage area luck as they go out and compete tonight, whether in Division IV or all around. Back to this game, however, Unioto and Columbus East. Shane, we were talking about both of these teams on the offensive side, but defense as well. You look at Unioto, they've got a lot of great playmakers as well. David Long, the SVC Defensive Back of the Year, 75 tackles on the season for the Shermans. That linebacker core, really for the Shermans, you read all those names, you got there's definitely no easy outs there with Cody Braden and Judah Zikafus as the outside backers as well.
No question. And what happens is those guys up front do a great job of not letting that offensive line get to their friends on the second level there. When you start talking about ends like Renner and Howard, Jarvis and James in the middle, what will happen there, Carson, they'll do a great job at the point of attack, and those linebackers you just read, they'd be the first to tell you on most nights they're able to run free to the football. And boy, will that be important tonight, because setting edges and making sure you have gap integrity will be huge against the speed of Columbus East, because Royster and company, as you highlighted there, I would throw in a Madlock, I'd throw in an Edward. All of them have the ability to turn what in normal weeks might be an 8, 9, 10-yard gain into a house call.
Yeah, and let's take a look, too, at the defensive front for Columbus East, because they've got two guys that you just read their stat line from this year, and you're confused on whether or not this is just a typo or if these guys are actually legit, and I think it's the latter. You look at defensive end Marquez Maddox, 74 tackles leading the team, 20 sacks on the season. That is video game numbers, Shane, and nonetheless, this Unioto offensive line, they've been great all season, but you could argue this is their toughest task all season long.
Well, no question. What that does, too, is when you can get that type of pressure from the front four. Remember in our Zane Trace coverage last week at Valley, we talked about what that does for the whole defensive unit. You don't have to send extra people. You don't have to blitz Coy to get the ball out of his hands. So you can go ahead and get that pressure established with your front four, and you can get real aggressive in some of your coverage. So Coy's got to be aware of that, because I know they like the quick passing game to Zikafus and Welch and some of those guys. So that'll be a matchup to really pay attention tonight, to see if Phillips and Maddox can get to the quarterback without them sending the extra blitz.
Keith Phillips, another man on this Tigers defensive line, had a 45-yard fumble recovery touchdown last week in the 43-21 win over Canton South in that first-round matchup. And let's talk about that matchup a little bit, because that was a game where, on paper, we thought it could be another really even game. You know, Canton South, we heard, is a very physical team. They've got a lot of playmakers, a lot of athletes. And Columbus East, on the other hand, they've played a lot of teams that are athletic. They've played a few teams with a lot of physicality throughout the season. That was a good test to get them ready to come down here and take on a Unioto team that we know can play tough but also show off their speed and athleticism.
No question. And that, again, when you turn on the film over the last 2 or 3 weeks, not just the athleticism of East, but the athleticism of the opponent on the other side of the football. You're exactly right. So it gives you an idea of just how well they match up out on the outside in some of their coverage, but then more particularly in some of the trenches in terms of guys like Phillips and Maddox getting in the backfield.
Well, with just about 5 minutes till kickoff here from Unioto High School, we will take a short break and come back and get you ready for kickoff. It's the Unioto Shermans and the Columbus East Tigers here in Week 12 in the Division IV Region 15 playoffs. You're watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glow Fiber. Lightning-fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network, whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glow Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glow Fiber, simply brilliant.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
The Unioto Shermans take the field tonight for this second round home playoff matchup, their first matchup of this postseason, as they look to take down the Columbus East Tigers, keep their undefeated season going. Unioto 10-0 for the first time ever in their program history, looking to add on to what's been an amazing season for the Shermans, no doubt.
Well, you do. You come up on 3:42 and counting here in the pregame, and you can start to feel the anticipation a little bit here on the near side. You highlighted in our first segment there a little bit. It's something that the Unioto program, Unioto community, a little eager to kind of prove itself at this level, and you can tell they've been locked in throughout the year, and many will say that this has been the best Unioto team they've seen. I would have a hard time arguing that. Certainly right up there in the top 2 or 3, if not the best. And I'm sure they're excited to put that on display here. But make no mistake about it, this opponent that's coming in here tonight, the Tigers from Columbus East, they check a lot of boxes and are going to present quite a challenge.
Shane, with about 3 minutes left till kickoff, we talked a lot about what each team has in store. What do you think are going to be some keys for each side in this one?
Well, I think anytime you get into big football games, you got to start with mistakes, right? You can't have the turnovers. Carson, I feel like we've had a really warm fall, a dry fall. Tonight, a little colder. It's certainly been wet, raining all day, still a little mist in the air here. The wind's starting to kick up a little bit. Ball security is going to be huge. These two 10-win teams, they don't turn it over a lot, but when their opponent turns it over, there's a good chance it turns into points in a hurry. I mean, Columbus East has turned about 5 or 6 defensive touchdowns in play. Unioto not far behind that. I mean, Sir McKinney, 3 of them himself there for Columbus East. So I think mistakes and turnovers have to probably rank at the top of that. Then how about this one? You and I love some baseball. How about a baseball analogy? I think you got to keep both teams in the ballpark. You talk about home run hitters. These defenses, Unioto gives up, about 4 a game? Columbus East about 11 a game. So they're not going to be the easiest to score against if you're just going to line it up and go 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives. So the home run could be the way into the end zone tonight. And we highlighted in that first segment, both teams have 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that on any given play through the air on the ground can hit that home run. So I think the team that's able to take that away, and then maybe not a key, maybe more of an X factor, but maybe the kicking game. I think Liam Matthew on the Unioto side, 23 touchbacks on the year. Now, here's the problem with that, You start in these conditions, you try to kick it to the end zone, and it lands at the 5 in the hands of like a Royster. You better get him on the ground.
Absolutely.
So in the punt game, long for Unioto, the return guys of Royster on the east side, Ezekafus on the Unioto side, those are some things that could certainly be an X factor.
On the far sideline, you see Columbus East taking the field tonight. Unioto won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half. Tigers will start with possession. Columbus East, champions of the City League North Division, a league that was pretty top-heavy with East, Northland, and Linden McKinley, all finishing with 7+ wins, all 3 making the playoffs as well. Sherman's kickoff team getting set to tee off. Liam Matthew, the honorable mention all SVC member, will boot it away.
Yeah, quite a weapon for Coach Hoops and the Shermans. Not just in his ability to be all but automatic on the extra points. He's kicked the field goal out to about 42, 43 yards this year. And then, as I said, the 23 touchbacks. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. Columbus East even had a couple big-time returns from the 2 up men. So all 4 of these guys that's standing back at the 30 and then the 10 respectively, they can all cause problems if they field it cleanly on the run.
Tigers have 2 men deep back to return this opening kickoff. Matthew tees it up. Matthew to boot it away. Week 12 is underway in the state of Ohio. A short kick fielded at the 20 and wrestled down, not after a big return there, is the East return man. Looked like it was Darian Matlock who fielded the kick, and the Tigers will start at their own 26.
Yeah, Matlock, one of the big-time return men. Unioto, kind of a unique strategy there. They keep the ball low. They put it right into that no man's land, and then the coverage is there to bottle them up and get them to the ground. So nice job by the Unioto special teams. Now we're going to get a look at this fast, high-powered Columbus East Tiger offense.
Sophomore quarterback Dior Hansard leads the Tigers out for their first play of the night at their own 26. Hansard to throw on first down, firing down the seam on the first play in no man's land, incomplete.
Yeah,
intended for Royster down the seam.
Sorry, Carson. An interesting formation there. They come out without the back in the because you'll see an Edwards back there, a Madlock, maybe even a Royster. That time, just go with the empty there and looking to throw it downfield.
Hansard 8 for 9 for 113 yards and a touchdown in the win over Canton South last week. Tigers coming out in the same formation. Royster motions over. They'll hand it off to Royster. Royster trying to break through traffic, gets a couple yards before he's taken down by a couple of Shermans. DeQuan James, one of the men leading the brigade, to bring down Royster, and quickly the Tigers face a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Cody Braden with an outstanding job of setting the edge there and then going low and forcing him back into his friends. Big 3rd down here early in the game.
Cody Braden, 29 tackles as an outside linebacker for the Shermans. 3rd and 7 at the 29. Hansard to throw, got a man out on the outside, and he's taken down right after the catch. Jack Weingardner with a big stop on Daquan Lindsay. And right away, it's a 3 and out for Columbus East.
Yeah, really nice job at Unioto secondary. It looked to me like a little pick rub route, and they passed it off well to one another. And then the sure tackling. Once they get the ball into the playmakers in space, you got to be able to tackle, and Weingardner and company did a nice job there.
Tigers will punt. Jackson Zickafoos, the dangerous return man for Unioto. High line drive punt, fielded at the 38 by Zickafoos. Zickafoos trying to get to the far sideline, wrestled down just before midfield.
Great start for Unioto there. Zickafoos comes up, sure-handed. Has been a great return man for Coach Hoops all year long. That time, fields it, keeps it off the turf, gets it back just shy of midfield. So if you're Unioto defense special teams, put the offense in a real nice position to start the evening.
Credit Caden Mitchell with the tackle for Columbus East. Now Isaac Coy and the Unioto offense will have their first drive of the night just shy of midfield. Loaded backfield for the Shermans on 1st and 10. Coy hands it off. It's Cody Braden. Braden gets blown up at the line of scrimmage. Shamarian Coleman with authority. Gain of 1 on the play from Braden.
Yeah, Coleman, second leading tackler on the team. You can see why there. He just shoots into the hole there and brings some hard hitting out of the middle of that Tiger defense.
Coleman, the junior linebacker, 61 tackles on the season for the Tigers. Levi Beam motioning from left to right for the Shermans. Coy in the shotgun. They'll hand it off to Braden once again. Braden trying to navigate up the middle, gets a few more yards, but he's wrestled down by a pack of Tigers It was Coleman and Marquez Maddox in on the stop there, and quickly Unioto faces a 3rd and 6.
Nice job from Braden running in behind SVC lineman of the year there, Landon Caruth, and nice move at the point of attack. 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 6, kind of in that gray area in terms of his 4-down territory. Probably has a lot to do with how this play goes.
Broken eye for the Shermans on 3rd down. Here's a fake handoff from Coy looking downfield. He's got Beam on the sideline, and he hauls it in. Gets both feet in bounds. Levi Beam elevates to move the chains.
Yeah, what a big-time catch from Beam. They come out on the play fake. They had long underneath. Beam a little deeper. Coy with a nice touch over the top. Had to throw it a little bit high to get it over the defense, and Beam goes up and shows off both feet, just NFL version-wise, getting them both down.
Only 14 catches on the year for Levi Beam, but they like to use him in those 3rd down situations when you least expect him to get the ball. It's when Isaac Coy likes to find his guys on those types of plays. 1st and 10 now. Here's a handoff to Braden. Braden up the middle, gets a couple before he's tangled up and brought down at about the 34-yard line.
And Carson, now you do creep into that 4-down territory. So if you can keep the flags off the field, you really got a nice chance to play out in front. You've got an elite field goal kicker, or you can go for it on your 4-down territory and try to keep moving the chains in that way.
Cody Braden, again, the co-SVC running back of the year. Look to get him going against a stout East defense. Here's a 2nd down handoff to Braden. Braden following his block gets a couple more before he's pushed down by Coleman from behind. Give him a gain of about 7 yards on the carry, makes it 3rd and short for Unioto.
Yeah, Glenn Stottrich from the left guard spot pulling out around the right side. Braden was able to make the first guy miss, which allowed his lineman to get up to even another level. And right here in 3rd and probably less than a yard, big.
Line to gain.
Looks like the near side officials got it where he's walking in.
Unioto's saying they have the 1st down, and they do.
Yeah, good short yardage there from Long. Good physical back. Gets north-south, and again, Unioto has got to like the formula from defense 3 and out, the good special teams, the good offensive drive here. That's their 2nd 1st down on the drive.
David Long, a guy who's done just about everything on offense throughout his career at Unioto, played some quarterback, some tight end, tonight getting some action in the run game. 1st and 10 at the 26. They'll go to Braden. Braden fighting through traffic, gets pushed forward and gets a gain of about 4 on the 1st down carry.
Carson coming in, I didn't know if Braden would be 100%. He very well may not be, but early on, I feel like he's got the feet moving well, working hard, avoiding the negative play and pushing forward. That type of run there, you'll take that on 1st down all night.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from the 22. Jacob Renner motions from left to right. Here's a toss to Braden on 2nd down. Braden slips, trying to get around the tackle of Marquez Maddox. And he falls forward after a small gain brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, first time they tried to run to the edge and just maybe lost a little bit of footing. Maybe the first time we see the field come into play a little bit. It's going to be wet out there tonight. There's been a lot of rain in the area today.
3rd and short for Unioto, another loaded backfield set. Coy going to keep it himself. Coy trying to navigate, runs into a man and goes down just near the line to gain.
Man, that is right at the line where they're walking in there. I think he's just short.
Jabari Ray was there to meet Coy on the stop. And the officials will call a timeout. We're going to get a measurement from the chain gang.
Yeah, good ball handling there. He got inside, and then we talked about ball security. He did a good job of putting it away. Then as he pushed with his back to the line, perhaps that ball just a little bit short here. Carson, what's your eyeball tell you? Man, that's close.
That's very close, and I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to see it until the chain gang makes its way out. And shout out to our cameraman, Kenneth Hay, for getting a nice zoom in on the ball spot so you can watch from home. Gives us a good view here on the monitor as well.
Be about a 33-yard field goal, but I would think they would roll the dice and go for it on the 4th and inches if they are short.
It will be a first down for Unioto by just the nose of the football. Isaac Coy calls his own number, moves the chains for Unioto.
Coach Hoops won't have to worry about that tough decision here early on. First down, they continue to move, and this is one of those nice situations at the 16. Carson, where you can get another first down down inside the 5. So good red zone opportunity for the Unioto offense.
1st and 10 for the Shermans. Here's a handoff to Braden. Braden working through traffic, gets hit at the 10, and it takes a herd of Tigers to bring him down. Gain of about 5 or 6 from Cody Braden. Just an amazing display of his physicality. It's not the first hit, but the 4th or 5th that stops him.
Yeah, that offensive line. Bryce Jarvis, Glenn Stottridge, Landon Caruth, Dylan Stanley, Donzel Newland just doing an absolute incredible job at the point of attack against this physical front for the Tigers.
2nd and 3 at the 9. Jacob Renner, the tight end, on the near side. Coy gonna hand it off. Up the middle, Braden doesn't get much. Well, credit Coleman with the tackle, brings up 3rd down. And Shane, it rained a lot today before kickoff. All but affects the conditions of the playing surface here. We've seen a couple times Braden getting slipped up there on that wet grass.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a factor. That's his 8th carry already here on this opening drive, so they've obviously been locked in on their offensive line and Braden. And here, if you're viewing this as 4-down territory, don't be surprised if 20 gets it one more time. They've also used long a little bit in the short yardage.
Before the snap, we've got a timeout called by Matt Hoops and the Unioto Shermans before a 3rd down and 1. And we will quickly take it with them. You're watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
4:10 remaining in the first quarter. Unioto facing a 3rd down and 1 at the Columbus East 8 on their opening drive. Shane, what have you liked so far about how Unioto has just ground and pound the football, milking this first quarter clock?
I like how they have been going north and south. I think it's going to be really tough to come out until you establish inside. It's going to be tough to get to the outside against the speed of East. Plus, you throw in the field conditions tonight, a little bit of the wet surface. I like how everything's been short, quick hitters north and south, riding your talented back, Braden behind your outstanding offensive line. Looks here like a little power formation. Watch Coy as a ball carrier as well as Braden.
Renner and Long, the 2 up men. 3rd and 1, they hand it off to Braden up the middle. Braden's got the first down, and it'll be 1st and goal inside the 5 for the Shermans.
Yeah, outstanding push up front. Good lead blocking there. Again, Braden already up over right around 30 yards here on my stat sheet on about 9 carries. So hasn't been the big run, but it's been a nice consistent run, avoiding the negative plays, and Unioto's been able to keep the flag off the field to this point.
New set of downs, 1st and goal at the 4 for the Shermans. Coy hands it off to Braden. Braden fighting forward, gets wrestled down at the 1. Stopped by Tajon Royster, as well as Daquan Lindsay, able to stop him short of the goal line.
Yeah, Unioto's owned the football pretty much the entire first quarter. Remember, East ended up running the 3 offensive plays. The one incomplete pass in the run, and then the one completed pass out in the flat with the tackle, and then they punted it away. Other than that, Unioto's owned the entire first quarter clock.
2nd and goal. Braden up the middle, gets blown up behind the line by Darian Matlock.
Matlock a little slow getting up, but that was an outstanding defensive play there.
Looked like Sir McKinney also in on that tackle. Loss of 1 for Braden. This Tigers defense trying to stand its ground early on. Backs against the wall, 2:40 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, looks like a little heavier package here. Coy comes out of the game, and they get some lead blockers in. Looks like they're going to direct snap it here to Braden.
Braden in the shotgun. They snap it right to him. Cody Braden finds the end zone. Touchdown, Shermans.
Carson all in the formation, right? You bring the quarterback out of the game, you get a little bit more beef up front. Go ahead and snap it straight there. It's just a game of numbers inside, and that drive was all Cody Braden and the outstanding offensive line capped off there with that 2-yard touchdown.
Braden pretty much carried the load for Unioto on that drive. It was only right that he gets to cross the goal line for 6 points. Liam Matthew out to kick the extra point out of the hold of Jackson Zikafus. High snap. Zikafus gets it down, and Matthew able to split the uprights for the PAT. And that gives Unioto a 7-0 lead with 2:23 left in the first quarter. 3 words for Unioto on that drive, Shane. Run the football. And they did that to perfection.
No question. We always talk about complementary football too, Carson. If you're Unioto, you got to love how all 3 phases have come out the way you'd almost script it during the week. You get the good field position from your kick team. Your defense goes 3 and out. Your punt return team gives you really good field position. What was that, a 51-yard drive? And then, like you said, offensively, let's run the football, get in behind that offensive line, and certainly a great start if you're rooting for the Unioto Shermans this evening.
Pretty lengthy drive as well after forcing the 3 and out from Columbus East. Now this offense will have to get back out there after some lengthy time on the sideline. See if they can get a good return here as Royster and Matlock, the 2 men deep, to field the kickoff.
Carson, while we have a second, I want to give a shout out to one of my really good friends, Jason Cruz, Unioto Hall of Famer. A lot of our listeners will know that name, obviously, big-time basketball player here at Unioto in the 90s, a high school teammate of myself, Coach Hoops. So he is tuning in to Sosa tonight from Florida. So, Jason, hope all is well. Glad you're along with us. Hope just great to hear from you. I know a lot of the Unioto people will enjoy hearing that as well.
Matthew tees it up, and he will boot it deep on the kickoff here. It will take a bounce into the end zone for a touchback. That gets the crowd going.
Well, what a weapon. I mean, again, how do you try to take away the incredible return game of the Tigers? They kicked it short into the hole the first time. That time you go ahead and you kick it deep. Now, that ball did hit the 2-yard line and bounce in. Let's see if East will try to adjust a little bit there. Because, as I said, you don't fly it all the way in there, and a guy like a Royster gets his hands on it, you got to be able to get him to the ground.
East tried to air it out a couple times on their opening drive. Let's see how they adjust on drive number 2, 1st and 10 at the 20. Here's a handoff to Dominique Edwards. Edwards gets to the outside, breaks a tackle, and picks up the first down. Dominique Edwards, the electric sophomore running back, moves the chains for the Tigers.
Well, Carson, I'll be honest, in studying film this week, that's what probably I expected more to see. And I think if you look at it from a Unioto perspective, that right there is what worries you the most, their ability to get to the edge with the run game. First possession, they come out airing it out a little bit more there. Let's see if they start to get the run game going. 1st
and 10 at the 31. Hansard to throw. Got a man. It's Matlock on the far sideline. Matlock trying to extend the ball forward for the first down. He's wrestled down on the far sideline by Braden Harsha. They'll spot him about 3 yards short of the line to gain. Make it 2 yards short, 2nd and 2 at the 30, called the 39.
Harsha, just a freshman, had a really good rookie season here for Coach Hoops this year.
Trips on the near side. Edwards in the backfield to the left of Hansard. 2nd down, Hansard to throw again, taking a shot down the sideline. It's incomplete. Intended for Darian Matlock. He almost hauled it in. Slips through his hands at the last second. Good coverage by the Shermans.
That's that home run ability we've talked about. Pretty well thrown ball, just maybe a fraction off, but nice job. Just a little extra effort there at the end by the defense just to maybe get a little hand in the eyesight there and break that up.
Matlock in the win over Canton South did not have a catch. He was more effective in the run game, but he's been a big passing target for the Tigers as well. 3rd and 2, there's Royster on the swing pass. Royster breaks free. Royster down the sideline, goes out of bounds just beyond the 40. Chased out by Judah Zikafus. Tigers go to their electric all-purpose guy on the quick hitter, and they're in enemy territory.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, getting Royster in space. That's a problem, and you miss a tackle, and all of a sudden that 4 or 5 yard gain turns into a nearly 20-yard gain, and they're onto the plus side of the field for the first time this evening.
665 receiving yards for Tajon Royster. Now 1st and 10 at the Unioto 43. Hansard in the backfield by himself. Drops back to throw, fires, and it's caught by Kenyon Downing. Wrestled down at the 25 by David Long and Micah Strange. First catch of the night for Downing. Tigers moving the ball right down the field.
Yeah, just a nice clear out route, sit down right underneath it, just pitch and catch, and now they're going to go with a little tempo.
Once again, empty backfield for the Tigers. Hansard to throw. He's got Edwards over the middle, complete for a gain of about 5.
Yeah, and continue to airing it out a little bit. They like some of the stuff they're getting underneath.
I'll call it a gain of 8, 2nd and 2 at the 17. Hansard to throw again, and the play is blown dead. And I think Coach Mike Bell's going to, or no, excuse me. Yeah, Coach Matt Hoops will burn his 2nd timeout of the night with 55 seconds left in the opening frame.
Yeah, I just think a little bit of the tempo had Unioto on its heels a little bit, so he just wants to try to slow that down a little bit and give East credit. They've come out and spreading the ball around in the pass game a little bit, and let's see if that strategy isn't, sometimes, people run to set up the pass. A lot of times I hear coaches say, we want to come out, throw the football around, make the defensive line have to pass rush and get after it a little bit. And if we can do that into the second half, we feel like we can wear you down and go to the run game. So that's going to be something to really watch here tonight, because this quick passing game where the ball gets out quick doesn't give the Unioto pass rush much time to get home.
Shane, a quick scoring update in our area down in Jackson in Division III, Region 12 action. The Ironmen tied with Miami Trace 7-all after a quarter of play.
Yeah, you and I had that one a couple weeks back. That one's going to be fun.
2nd and 2, Hansard to throw, incomplete. Pass intended for Matlock on the slant route. Braden Harsha in coverage once again.
That time just maybe a little second longer in the pass, or excuse me, in the route running where they wanted to go. It allowed Jarvis to get into the backfield a little bit. Let's really pay attention here on the 3rd down and see if East goes back to the run game. Good time for Edwards.
They will keep Edwards in the backfield to the right of Hansard. Royster in the slot on the near side. He motions over to the right. Fake the give to Royster. It's Edwards. Edwards gets wrestled down from behind. Chased down by Bryce Jarvis. And that brings up 4th down for the Tigers. Luke Howard in on the tackle as well.
great discipline and knowing your assignment. They run the jet sweep and just kind of show the ball the one way, bring Edwards back the other, and everybody staying home and knowing what their assignment is, and then good job of going low and getting the talented back to the ground.
They'll call it a loss of 1 on the carry from Edwards. East leaving its offense out. 4th and 3 as time winds down in the first quarter. They're going to go for it. Hansard to throw, fires over the middle. It's caught. Flag is down, but Royster able to haul it in. Will momentarily move the chains.
Yeah, nice throw. Change the arm angle there a little bit to create a window. As is, looks like about an 11-yard gain, but we'll see if it's going to come on back.
Going to call a chop block against Columbus East.
It's a big call there. You're talking 1st and goal inside the 10. Now you're going to move it all the way back on 4th down, and you're kind of in no man's land. I don't know that punting would do you a lot of good, but it's 4th and forever here. I guess you could punt it and try to pin them deep, but looks like the offense is going to stay on the field for now.
And the final 1.9 seconds will come off the clock here in the first quarter. The Unioto Shermans out to a 7-0 lead after 12 minutes of play as they look for just their 2nd playoff win in program history here on their home field. Second quarter from Unioto coming your way. You're watching Ohio High School playoff football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glow Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glow Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glow Fiber. Simply brilliant.
Back here at Unioto's second quarter to get underway as Columbus East facing 4th and a mile to start the second quarter. 4th and 18 from the Unioto 32. Hansard in the empty backfield. Under pressure, looking. He's going to fire downfield. It's caught, but stops short of the line to gain. Royster with the catch, but Judah Zikafus was there to make the stop, pushes Royster out of bounds. Shermans get a turnover on downs.
Yeah, just a great job of knowing exactly what you're defending against there in terms of the chains, and that can still be a valuable field position play for East to at least move it back downfield on them a little bit. But if you're Unioto, obviously you're guarding that first down marker, and they did a great job in the secondary of understanding where he could not get to.
Shane, another update from Division IV, Region 15. Early on, Indian Valley leading Circleville 14-0. We talked about Grady Kinsey. 3 carries, 125 yards, 2 scores.
Yeah, that'll do.
1st and 10 at their own 17 for Unioto. Beam motions into the slot on the far side. Coy hands it off to Braden. Braden, watch out. Braden breaks a tackle, lowers his shoulder, and moves the chains for a first down. Cody Braden did it all on that opening drive. Now he's got his legs under him, and he can really go.
Yeah, some pre-snap motion, a little bit eye candy, I like to call it. You motion to one side and use beam speed and kind of show the ball there and then run Braden inside. A lot for the defense to digest there.
We'll spot it at the 28, 1st and 10 once again for Unioto. David Long, the up man. They'll go back to Braden again. Braden runs into traffic, and this time gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Shamarian Coleman and Jayswan Martin both in on the tackle, makes it 2nd and 10 after no gain.
Yeah, if you weren't with us in our pregame coverage, we were highlighting that front four led by Marquez Maddox and Keith Phillips and their ability to really win the point of attack. They certainly did so on that carry.
2nd and 9 at the 29. Trips on the near side. And a false start by Unioto. David Long. Some happy feet there in the backfield.
Yeah, first penalty on Unioto. So you watch it on the one side. Instead of 1st and goal inside the 10, the penalty on the Tigers brings it way back, kills that drive. Here, Unioto, the first time that the flag comes on the field and kind of puts them in a poor down and distance. Let's see if they can recover.
Call it 2nd and 15 after the false start.
That was the first key of mine when you asked me in the pregame coverage. I said mistakes. That could be the turnover or the penalty, and we've seen the penalty hurt both teams here early.
2nd and long. They'll go back to Braden, and Braden is stuffed behind the line again. This Columbus East defensive line holding its own. Jayswan Martin again on the stop. Another TFL for the junior brings up 3rd and long.
Carson, interesting play call here. 3rd and long. You've controlled the football game throughout. This is the first real passing opportunity where you might take a look at Zikafus. You're trying to get an athlete in space.
Coy drops back on 3rd and long. Tried to go for beam over the middle, threw it over his head and incomplete. And Unioto will send out the punt team for the first time tonight. Now, I kind of wonder if Jack Welch, who was the wide man here on the near side, wonder if maybe he was the intended receiver there as well, had him on a shortened slant route. Ball didn't quite get to him. It was more in the vicinity of beam. But you just have to wonder if did something go wrong on the route running.
Yeah, certainly had beam underneath, and perhaps, again, the wet ball just got away from him a little bit on one of his first attempts of the evening.
David Long to punt it away for Unioto. It's a good spiral punt fielded by Matlock at the 36. Matlock trying to dance around the coverage team, and Unioto able to swarm and get there to prevent a big gain. Called about 3 or 4 on the return.
Yeah, don't underestimate how important that tackle is there. Long's an outstanding leg. He can flip a field for you, but with the return ability of the Tigers, you get someone like a Royster or Madlock into space, and it's hard to get him to the ground. So that's good coverage there. That's a big play in terms of getting downfield and making the tackle.
So the Tigers retake the field on offense. Had a pretty good drive going there last time, but as you said, Shane, penalties cost them that drive, and they came away empty-handed. Here's a 1st and 10 handoff to Edwards. Edwards runs into a team of Shermans, and he gets stood up. Jack Weingardner and Bryce Jarvis, 2 of the Shermans, in on that stop, called a loss of 2.
Yeah, and again, early on, Unioto just doing an incredible job setting the edge, not letting that speed get outside on them. So what we've seen the Tigers do is go to a little bit more of the empty set and use the short passing game to do it. Let's see now, he's got the running back in the backfield with him again.
2nd and 12. Hansard to throw, slips in the backfield, stays on his feet. He's under pressure. Hansard looking downfield. It's Matlock open for a 1st down. And he took a big hit from Jackson Zikafus. But the most important part is he holds on to the football and moves the chains. Dior Hansard turns a broken play into a big play. Puts the Tigers in enemy territory.
Yeah, outstanding quarterback play of keeping the play alive, and then good job of holding on. You know you're going to get hit there, and you hold on to the football for the 1st down.
Now 1st and 10 at the Unioto 44, trips on the near side. Hansard to throw, that ball got tipped, and it's incomplete. This Unioto defensive front causing a lot of problems for Dior Hansard. First, you had him under pressure on the broken play, and now you tip his ball intended for Matlock on the far side.
Well, that's what you got to do there, right? On the quick passing game, if you can't get home, the next best thing is can you use your size and athleticism to get up there and not give him a good window to throw it. And there you're able to knock it down and basically kill it down.
2nd down after the incompletion. Hansard fakes the handoff, looking downfield. He's under pressure, tried to throw to Edwards in the flat, and he overthrew him.
Carson Unioto dodged a serious bullet there. They completely got lost in formation there. It looked to me like Lindsey out of the slot went down the middle of the field, and no one was matched up with him. Luckily, he was not the primary look, or that could have been a big play for East.
And again, this Unioto defensive front getting in the backfield, wreaking havoc, forcing an errant pass. 3rd and 10 at the 44 for Columbus East. Quad set on the near side. And a flag thrown in the defensive backfield. They did not get the snap off in time.
So we watched the flag on the previous drive kill it in the red zone. Here doesn't necessarily kill the drive yet, but certainly makes a 3rd and long, 3rd and longer. Big opportunity for the Unioto defense to get off the field.
Call it 3rd and 15 at the 49. Same look for the Tigers. Hansard drops back, steps up, throws downfield. He's got Royster wide open. Tajon Royster will score. Touchdown Columbus East. Tajon Royster wide open from 49 yards out, finds the end zone.
Yeah, 49 yards, and the thing that impresses you about the sophomore quarterback, as athletic as he is, if you watch him, when he steps up in the pocket, the eyes stay downfield, has plenty of room to run many times when I watch him on field. But again, when he steps up, he wants to throw it, and if you're going to throw it, Royster's a pretty good target to take a look at.
Tigers will leave the offense out and go for 2. Hansard hands it off, and there's a pile at the goal line. And he's not going to get there. Can't tell who the ball carrier was. But Unioto able to stop him short. Looks like it was Royster on the carry. Stopped a yard short. But the Tigers do get on the board. 49-yard pass from Dior Hansard to Tajon Royster makes it 7-6 Unioto. And we'll quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie and Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
7-6 in favor of the Unioto Shermans with 7:47 left in this first half. Shane, we wondered what that delay of game penalty was going to do for the momentum of East Drive. Dior Hansard says it's not going to do much. Finds his number 1 target, Tajon Royster, for a 49-yard score.
Well, it's that home run ability we were talking about in the pregame on both sides. You're never out of a drive. Because, again, 3rd and 15 would kill a drive for a lot of offenses you and I have covered this year. This Columbus East offense would not fall into that category because, again, if they have 1 snap left, they always have a chance to go the distance.
Short kick fielded by Jackson Zikafus at the 20, and they toss it to Beam. Beam gets to the opposite sideline, and he's got some room. Levi Beam, after some trickery from the Unioto return team, gets past the 40, puts the Shermans in excellent field position.
Well, it's just great preparation from the coaching staff. You know, you don't need it throughout the year, really. You show certain things to put it on film. There's other things you put in your back pocket. And when you have athletes like Zickafoose and Beam, you want to find different ways to get them in space. And there you're able to maybe win just a little bit extra field position by utilizing a little trickery and getting some speed to the outside.
You know, I didn't fall for that handoff at first. I watched OU run a fake handoff on a kick return, and then the initial returner took it 97 yards to the house. Seen a lot of trickery on the gridiron this week. I'll spot the return at the 37. 1st and 10. Here's a handoff up the middle to David Long, who gets a gain of about 3 on the handoff from Coy. Unioto, again, favoring heavily this run game. And so far, it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and then really they favored it for the most part inside between the tackles. And I think some of that north-south is where they probably felt like they had a little advantage coming in. And you know, for the most part of the first half they have. That last drive, I thought East did a good job of shutting down the middle.
2nd and 8 at the 39. Long and Braden both in the backfield. This time it's a handoff to Braden. Braden fights through contact, gains about 4 on the carry before he's brought down by Shamarian Coleman. I'll give him 6 on the carry, 3rd and 2 at the 45.
Yeah, just a little shift right before the snap there, kind of changed the angle of how the back hit the hole. Now you have it in 3rd and very manageable, but again, shy of midfield, probably not 4-down territory. So as the clock goes under 6.5, if you're Unioto, you'd love to possess the football here. You do get the football coming out of the locker room to start the 3rd quarter.
3rd and 2. Coy hands it off to Braden. Braden stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Tries to fight forward, but he gets brought down. This Columbus East defensive front standing its ground. Adrees Reed on the tackle brings up 4th down for the Shermans.
Yeah, they had him for a yard or 2 loss. He did a good job of fighting through that first tackle to get back to the original line of scrimmage. 4th and a short 2 is where it's marked. And looks like Coach Hoops is going to at least line up to go for it. If nothing else, maybe get up there and give a hard count, see if you get an easy one.
Under 10 on the play clock. See what the Shermans decide to do. Now 5 on the play clock. Coy in the shotgun. And with 1 second left on the play clock, Coach Hoops is going to burn his final timeout of the half. And maybe just a thing where you line up, see how the defense responds, and then call timeout and go from there.
Well, and you certainly worth the timeout here in the first half. I mean, I know it's your last one, but if you were planning on snapping that and you were up against the clock there a little bit and didn't like the look, certainly worth the timeout there. Now, if you are going to go for it, make sure everybody's on the same page and try to run your best play in the short yard. If you're going to go up there and try to get the hard count, you could even take the penalty here with the leg along if you have to, even if you get moved back a little bit. Carson, another shout out to another Unioto athlete from the 90s, Jason Tress down in Kentucky, listening in this evening. Jason was an outstanding soccer, basketball, baseball talent here at Unioto.
The Sherman faithful truly does run deep, doesn't it, Shane?
Yeah, member of that state runner-up team back in 91.
4th and 2 at the 45. Coy lines up under center. Now he'll walk it back. 10 on the play clock. Now motion Coy out. Now Braden to take the snap. 2 on the play clock. And they don't get it off. They'll take the delay of game. And now it looks like Unioto will officially send out the punt team. I think maybe some pre-snap eye candy there, maybe doing something to try and draw East off sides. The East defense not falling for it.
Yeah, good discipline up front from East, and really no harm in trying there if you're Unioto. It's certainly worth the 5 yards of field position to go ahead and back that up. You have an outstanding punter. You just got to be clean here in the kicking game. And again, we've highlighted it all night, the return ability. Got to be careful. giving the return people of East too much space.
The officials asking for a reset of the game clock. 5:35, the correct time here in the first half. Long to punt, Matlock back deep to return for the Tigers. High snap, Long fields it, gets a good boot. And it's fielded by Matlock, who takes a huge hit by Zikafus. On the catch of the return, Jackson Zikafus, electric on the punt coverage.
Yeah, it really was. And, look, Jackson Zikafus is SVC Special Team Player of the Year. He does it in the return, but he also does it in the coverage there. And you can see why the coach has honored him with such an award.
Jackson Zikafus putting it all on the line here in Week 12. Excellent punt coverage. So no return on the punt from the Tigers. They'll start at their own 29.
Carson, if you're East, you have to feel good about where you're at, right? You at the first quarter, Unioto really possessed the football on you, but you come back, you answer with a touchdown. Now you have the ball back in your possession with 5.5 to go. Plenty of time to go down and try to take a lead before halftime.
1st and 10 at the 29. Here's a new quarterback in the game for the Tigers, Michael Thompson-Ayers. Tried to keep it himself, but he goes almost nowhere, actually going back a couple yards.
Yeah, you can see the speed to the outside there. Unioto very prepared. Again, doing a good job setting the edge, not getting sucked in.
Called a loss of 2 on the keeper from the freshman, Thompson-Ayers. Now 2nd and 12 at the 22. Hansard back in the shotgun with Edwards to his left. Hansard to throw on 2nd down. Fakes the throw. Now he's going to keep it himself. Hansard trying to work upfield. Gets a nice gain before stopped at the 30 by Cody Braden. Gain of 8 on the keeper from Hansard.
Yeah, I talked about earlier his ability to keep the eyes downfield. He did that as he stepped up. That time he did tuck it and run, and by doing so puts his team back in a 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 4 at the 32 of Columbus East. Trips on the near side. Hansard tries to swing it out to Royster. It's incomplete. Throws off target and hits the grass, brings up 4th down for the Tigers.
Yeah, as much as you would love to roll the dice, you're just not in a field position to do it if you're East. And this is now the roles are reversed, Carson. Now if you're Unioto, you have to be disciplined up front because you don't want a silly jump that would extend the drive. Because if you're the Shermans now, you execute in the special teams and get a clean receive. Now it's your offense that has a chance to double up before the half.
High snap on the punt. It's a good punt. It's over the head of Zikafus. He has trouble fielding it. And he scoops it up and goes down at the 30. That punt was over his head. And Zikafus tried to track it down, had trouble on the initial corral. Wisely falls down on it at the 30.
Yeah, he did. And again, look, he's aggressive in the receiving. I've seen him short hop some, take some off the hop. That time he tries to come over the shoulder, and he's obviously made it a ton of plays. I believe he's taken 3 back to the house, not to mention how many times he set up a short field. So if you're Coach Hoops, you certainly want him to try to get his hands on it when he can, but you certainly don't want to turn it over. And I thought he did a good job of going back and making sure that he secures the football.
Unioto once again in a heavy set on 1st and 10 at the 31. Jacob Renner, the far side tight end. Here's a toss out to Cody Braden, who tries to get to the outside. He gets wrangled down by Matlock after a short gain. Braden trying to stiff arm Darian Matlock, but he's able to stay with it and bring down Cody Braden for a short gain.
Yeah, just gives you an idea how difficult it is to get to the outside. He ended up figuring out a way to get about 2, almost 3 out of that. For Unioto, you'd love to be able to run the football a little bit and move it, and then if you maybe get across midfield, maybe start to turn it loose.
2nd and 8 at the 34. Coy in the shotgun. He'll drop back to throw. Rolling out. Coy looking. Throws cross body. It's Long on the reception. Wide open for a first down. David Long seemingly in no man's land. Spots up and hauls in a first down catch.
Well, I love how they move the pocket there. They take Coy on the design rollout and gets him away from some of that front four rush that we've highlighted for the Tigers. Then he just does a good job of looking things over and comes a little bit back across the body with a soft touch to Long.
You've seen Long utilized in the run game. Hauls in a nice grab there. 1st and 10 at the 47. Coy to throw again, and it's picked off. Down the far sideline. And Columbus East with a huge spark on the defensive end. Jabari Ray jumps in front of the pass from Coy and sets up the Tigers in excellent field position.
That's just good film work there. You know that that's a go-to route that Unioto's used throughout the year, and he just jumps the route there, and he steps in front. Give Zikafus a lot of credit running him down. We talked about the Columbus East defense has turned, 7 turnovers into touchdowns, and that time certainly looked like he had a chance to go, but Zikafus runs him down and gives the defense a chance to get out here and see if they can hold.
3rd interception on the season for the senior Jabari Ray. Tigers starting at the Unioto 30 with 2:36 remaining. A quick stoppage for a play clock issue. We get that figured out now. 1st and 10 at the 30. Play clock under 20. Royster in motion. Hansard fakes the give to Royster. Tried to go back to him. Unioto had it read perfectly. Here's Edwards wide open on the sideline. And he hauls it in. Tigers in the red zone. Once again, Hansard sticks with it, turns a broken play into a red zone trip for the Tigers.
And Carson, again, unless I'm not seeing it right, I think a lot of it's in formation and alignment. Unioto's outnumbered out there when they go to that overload on this near side, and East is starting to pick on that a little bit.
1st and 10 at the 15, coming up on 2 minutes to go till halftime. Hansard drops back, surveying, he's under pressure. Gets it out, it's Edwards again. Edwards at the pylon. You wait the signal, out of bounds at the 1. Dominique Edwards, deadly in the passing game on this drive for the Tigers.
Well, the talented running back, Unioto's been able to bottle him up in the run game. What better way to get him in space than to get him involved in the pass game?
And Coach Bell will use his first timeout of the half for Columbus East. The Tigers knocking on the door of pay dirt after back-to-back completions from Hansard to Dominique Edwards.
Well, and you think back to our keys to start the game. We talked about the home run hitting ability. We've seen that on display from East when they had the 3rd and forever and they hit Royster on the 49-yard touchdown. We also talked about mistakes. East had a red zone opportunity killed with a penalty early. Now this time it's Unioto with the turnover that sets up the short field for East. So in these games, we had 2 10-win teams. We talked about how we felt like it was a coin flip game. It certainly played out like that. In Carson, when that happens, I don't care the sports. Sometimes it comes down to some mistakes and the ability to be able to capitalize on those mistakes.
Columbus East surely capitalizing on the Unioto mistake. Jabari Ray jumped in front of an Isaac Coy pass to set the Tigers up at the 30, and now they're knocking on the door trying to take the lead. 1st and goal at the 1. Hansard on the keeper. It will come back. Hansard did cross the goal line, but an illegal shift against the Tigers.
Yeah, you could almost see before the snap some just different movement to it, and man, what a big penalty for now that is. See if East can make it not that big a deal, but gives Unioto defense new life.
Still 1st and goal this time from the 6. Tigers looking to take the lead for the first time tonight. Edwards in the backfield to the right of Hansard. They motion Royster over to the right side. Hansard to throw, firing, and it's incomplete, almost picked off by Harsha. Ball was lofted right to him. And a lucky break for Columbus East. I think it was intended for Daquan Lindsay in the back of the end zone. Hansard just didn't put enough on it.
Yeah, great opportunity for Unioto there, but look, still is a great opportunity. Here you are, you're moving back. See if you can keep them out of the end zone a couple more times and make a decision.
Now Michael Thompson-Ayers in the shotgun to take the snap. Thompson-Ayers going to keep it himself, trying to get to the outside, gets blown up and driven back by a handful of Shermans. Jacob Renner, Judah Zikafus, all in on that stop, as well as Glenn Stottridge. That'll bring up 3rd and goal at the 2. And the Tigers will burn another timeout with 1:23 left. Now this Unioto defense looking for a huge goal line stand of their own. We've seen this defense with their backs against the wall make a lot of huge plays. We especially saw that the last time we were here. We watched them play Zane Trace. Pioneers got in the red zone 4 different times. Unioto's defense allowed 0 points.
Well, when you come in averaging 4 points a game, as soon as you give up a touchdown, you've already are over your season average. That means you're pretty good. So you talk about a game of inches. Edwards doesn't get in on the catch all the way down to about the half-yard line. You think it's a foregone conclusion, and then all of a sudden you get the penalty. Now things get interesting. Here you are on 3rd down, and the pressure starts to mount. This is going to be one of those big momentum swings one way or the other going into the locker room.
It's Columbus East looking for another trip to Week 13. They last made it to that stage back in 2022. They knocked off Cambridge in double overtime to advance to the regional semifinal. 3rd and goal at the 2. Hansard to throw. Got a man on the outside. It's hauled in for a touchdown. Darian Matlock in the front corner of the end zone. Tigers take the lead. The 5th touchdown on the season for the senior.
Nice play call to the outside. I think it's a lot of respect to the job Unioto's been able to do inside, and that time they were able to get to the edge and make a nice throwing lane and good hands out there for him to secure it in and keep the feet in bounds.
Tigers will elect to go for 2 to make it an even 7. Hansard to throw under pressure, fires over the middle. It's batted down and incomplete. Intended for Royster over the middle. They can't find him. But Columbus East does take the lead on a 2-yard completion to Darian Matlock, 12-7 with 1:19 left till halftime.
Yeah, outstanding job by the Tigers. You come on the road, and in the first quarter, you kind of get knocked back on your heels a little bit. You fall down 7-0, and you answer with a big play on offense. Then you answer with a big play on defense, set up that short field, and then go in and cash it in. Now up 12-7. If you're Unioto, this is an interesting stretch here. You don't really have any timeouts. 1:19 on the clock. Probably a lot to be determined by field position, how Coach Hoops wants to handle this. Keep in mind, Unioto will get the ball coming out of the half.
Defense sets up offense for the Tigers on that last drive. The Jabari Ray interception made plenty of way for the Tigers to go to work and take the lead. Now Isaiah Giddy to boot things away for the Tigers. As Harsha and Zikafus back deep to return for Unioto. Short pooch kick. Takes a bounce at the 25, fielded by Harsha from right there. Harsha gets a nice return, gets wrestled down at around the 40-yard line, taken down by Sir McKinney.
Carson, I think this brings up interesting time and score. Now, the bad news for Unioto, they don't have any timeouts. The good news is you have a field goal kicker that's been good from 40-plus this year in Matthew. I know the conditions tonight might not be ideal for the kicking game, but let's just see how Unioto goes about this on some of the play calling here.
1st and 10 at the 40 for the Shermans. Beam motions over to the left. Here's a touch pass to Beam. Beam trying to get to the outside. And he takes a big hit from Royster, also pulled out of bounds by Matlock after a gain of about 3. The good news is for Unioto is that Beam was able to get out of bounds, momentarily stops the clock.
It's that new statistical pass play that you see a lot of people where they toss it out in front.
2nd and 7 at the 43. Here's a handoff to Braden. Braden runs into a wall. Shamarian Coleman on the initial hit. And Keith Phillips in on cleanup duty. Brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, now you're in one of those situations where let's see how much they run this down.
Shamarian Coleman, the transfer from Bishop Hartley. Been a huge force on this Tigers defense, and Coach Mike Bell gonna burn his final timeout with 38.2 remaining. Make sure his defensive alignment is set up right. What do you do here for Unioto?
Well, that makes me wonder if Unioto just won't run the ball, both teams out of the timeouts now, and go ahead and take it in the locker room. I think what Coach Bell was thinking, rather than letting them run this all the way down to the low 20s, when you looked at the play clock, let's go ahead and stop it now and at least let Unioto know that if they are going to try to throw it and they throw it incomplete, that they're still going to have to execute a punt play, a snap, and all that
Give
good
you a
stuff.
chance to get the ball back at least one more time.
Right. So I think that's just some back and forth there. If Unioto decides to run the football here, it's all for naught. But it does kind of put it in the back of Coach Hoops' mind that, hey, if I do throw it and it falls incomplete, I'm going to have to take the risk of executing a punt play.
3rd and 6 from the 44 for Unioto. Heavy set, Long and Renner, the up men. Coy fakes the handoff, looking downfield for Welch. It's short, and Welch had to come back to it. It's incomplete. Like you said, Shane, a timeout by the Tigers works out in their favor because now they're going to have a chance to get the ball back before half. And that's even bigger when you think that Unioto gets the ball to start the second half.
Well, good clock management there from Coach Bell. And again, if Unioto executes, it's not that big a deal. But here's what happens by throwing the football there. You now have to have a good snap. You got to avoid a punt block, and you've got to make sure that you don't allow for a big return from one of the talented Tigers back deep to receive.
Long to punt. And a delay of game penalty called on the Shermans. That'll back him up 5.
And that 5 yards does matter a little bit just because it was the clock wasn't running anyway, so you don't really have any benefit from doing that. See if the Tigers bring some pressure. They almost got the one earlier.
Long to punt again. It's a short punt. Takes a bounce near the Unioto sideline down at the 44. A less than ideal punt for the Shermans, and now East going to have a chance to, if they decide to run a play, start with some great field position.
Yeah, and again, with their home run capabilities, remember, if you weren't with us in the pregame, I shared a stat. They have 6 guys who have been able to run the football for 30-plus yards on a play. 6 guys that's been able to catch a ball for 38-plus yards. So home run hitters all over the formation here. If you're East, I would think, even if it was just a jet sweep or some sort of pass play or something, I think you would go ahead and give your offense a chance to see if they can't hit a big play.
They'll start at their own 44. Hansard in the shotgun. 1st and 10, Hansard to throw. He's got Royster on the outside, complete. Watch out, Royster goes out of bounds in enemy territory at around the 45.
Clock stops, and again, you're putting yourself in a position where you can take that shot to the end zone.
You got Royster out in the open on the far sideline, chased out of bounds by Blake Braden. Clock stops with 16.3 left. Now an empty backfield for the Tigers. 4 wide on the near side. Hansard drops back, looking downfield. He's got a man. It's picked off. Jackson Zikafus trying to take it back. Taken down near midfield. Jackson Zikafus in damage control for the Shermans.
Yeah, what a big time read. Comes up, makes a big play there to nothing else, just to kind of keep East from doing something crazy before the half. It looks like we have a Sherman down on the far side.
I believe that's Jackson Zikafus after being tackled on the return. His 4th interception on the season. And he's a little shaken up after the return, and while he's getting checked out by the training staff, we'll quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
.5 seconds remain until halftime here at Unioto. The Columbus East Tigers leading the Shermans by a 12-7 advantage. As we have a stoppage in play here, Jackson Zikafus. It appears to be the Sherman who is shaken up after an interception return. Currently being checked out by training staffs and coaches of both teams.
Yeah, just something you always hate to see, and you obviously hope young man's okay, and made a big play for his team here to save a big play before the half, and from a football standpoint would obviously hurt them big time into the second half of a close game, but more importantly, you hope for the well-being of the young man.
So 5'9" senior just had his 4th interception on the year, 2nd straight game with an interception. Shane, as you were saying, from a football standpoint, this is not a man you'd want to lose if you're Unioto, the dynamic playmaker on both sides of the ball.
Well, dynamic's the word I would use for Jackson Zikafus across the entire Unioto athletic program. Looks like he's up there, so that's a good sign. But you're talking about a young man who was right in the middle of a Final Four run for their baseball team. he's the engine that makes their basketball team go, and then you see a lot of those things in football in terms of his intangibles, offense, defense, special teams. It looks like maybe holding the arm in a way. I don't want to play doctor here, maybe a shoulder or something like that. I'm not sure.
It's good to see him up and moving. He will take a minute with the Unioto training staff. It's 2.5 seconds remain here in the first half. Isaac Coy will drop to a knee, and that will bring us to halftime from Unioto here in this Division IV Region 15 second round matchup. The Columbus East Tigers with a 12-7 lead over the Unioto Shermans, looking to advance to the regional semifinal. We'll take a quick break, and we will come back for some halftime entertainment from the marching bands of both schools. You've been watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie and Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health. Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Halftime getting wrapped up here at Unioto. The Unioto Marching Shermans wrapping up their halftime performance. We also got to enjoy a special treat from the mighty Marching Tigers of Columbus East as the Tigers hold a 12-7 lead at halftime of this Division IV Region 15 second round playoff game. Carson Francis and Shane Combs back with you to bring you the second half. Shane, Unioto started in front with a Cody Braden touchdown. They went on that long first drive. Columbus East answered, clawed back in the second quarter, hit Tajon Royster for a 49-yard touchdown, and then a 4-yard touchdown grab from Darian Matlock put the Tigers out to a 12-7 lead.
Well, I think it's everything we talked about in the pregame, right? I mean, we talked about turnovers and mistakes, and we talked about not letting the teams hit the home runs. Unioto's drive was a little bit of a longer drive, and they had control of the tempo there in the first quarter. But then if you think about how East got back in the game, it was exactly to the two things we talked about in our keys. They used the big play. That 49-yard touchdown came on a 3rd and 15 play. And then they obviously caused the turnover there with the interception. Return it back to the 30, gives the offense the short field. I thought they started to use Edwards out of the backfield a little bit. Remember how much they were throwing the ball early. Unioto was having trouble getting to the quarterback, and then they started able to sneak the back Edwards, because Edwards comes in not that far off 1,000-yard season on the season. He's had a great sophomore season running the ball. Unioto's had that bottled up, but then they started to lose him out of the backfield a little bit, and that set up that second touchdown. Now, big play. Remember we talked about the kicking game being an X factor. Their inability to convert any points after, be it off the conversions. So you stay at a 12-7 game, so that could certainly be a factor here into the third and fourth quarter in terms of the way some PATs or two-point conversion ends up playing a part in this thing.
And let's talk about the quarterback play of Dior Hansard for the Tigers. On countless occasions, he's been able to turn these broken plays into these 15, 20, 30-yard gains that have really allowed the Tigers to threaten in enemy territory.
It's putting a lot of pressure on the Unioto secondary because they're having trouble getting to him. You know, early on, it looked like they might try to get after him a little bit, and he was getting the ball out quick. But then on other times where they're not getting to him, he's extending the play, and it's forcing some of the Unioto secondary to have to defend that extra 2, 3, 4 seconds. Well, that's just really, really difficult to do, especially when you talk about the level of athletes. So impressed on film, and again here tonight, how the sophomore quarterback, when he scrambles around, he does a pretty good job of keeping his eyes downfield. He only runs the ball 2 or 3 times a night on the stat sheet. I think tonight he tucked in maybe scrambled once or twice. But when he scrambles around, he wants to extend the play. He wants to throw the ball downfield to his big play wide receivers, and he's been able to do that a little bit more into the second quarter of this game, and it kind of flipped the script on Unioto.
And looking at Unioto offensively, they do start the second half with the ball. They ran the ball a lot in the first half, and I think throughout the half, East defense kind of adjusted to the offensive scheme. They tried to put the ball in the air a little bit, had some success, but the pick late that was thrown to Jabari Ray kind of stifled Isaac Coy a little bit in the passing game. How does he bounce back if Unioto likes to put the ball in the air more?
Well, they really need to run the football, but yes, in the air, they're going to have someone step up. They lose their leading receiver, Zikafus. It appears he's going to be done for the night. Hopefully, his future weeks and in the basketball season is not at jeopardy if Unioto is able to advance here tonight from the football side of things. So you're going to need someone to step up. Maybe it's Welch. Maybe it's the freshman Harsha. We've seen Long and Beam get involved in the passing game. But they're going to definitely need somebody to step up in terms of pass catching to allow Unioto to still maintain some sort of balance.
These two teams both 10-win seasons, champions of their respective leagues. This newfound playoff success for each team well within grasp. One half of football left to play in this second round matchup. Unioto will start with possession. Braden Harsha fields the kick at the 15, and he gets to the sideline. Harsha makes a man miss. Braden Harsha down the sideline into enemy territory. That's a way to start the half.
Well, just like what we're talking about, not only in the receiving game, also in the return game, you got to be able to have someone step up and replace Zikafus, and the rookie Harsha does that with a big return onto the plus side of the 50 as Unioto is going to try to strike first here in the second half and play back out in front.
Braden Harsha, the freshman, has had a tremendous opening season. Puts Unioto at the Columbus East 42 to start the second half. There's a first down handoff. Cody Braden into the open field. Still going down beyond the 30. Cody Braden, the first carry of the second half, moves the chains. Unioto sticking to the run game. And they're 1 for 1.
Yeah, big time job offensive line over there with Stanley and Newland on that right side, and they've been pulling, as I said earlier, Stottridge over. Obviously, Caruth at center does a great job. You also get Jarvis over there on that left side, but Unioto offensive line kind of took control of the first quarter, now trying to do the same here in the third.
Larkin Langoff out wide on the near side. Here's another handoff to Braden. Braden bounces off a blocker. Another nice gain for Cody Braden near the line to gain. They'll mark him down about a yard short.
Unofficially 19 carries up over 50 yards of the touchdown. First half already has about 24, 25 yards here on these first 2 carries.
Been a lot of 3 or 4 yards in a cloud of dust in the first half for Cody Braden. Now he's getting in a rhythm, breaking off those 7, 8, 9 into double-digit yard runs. How does the East defense respond? Broken eye on 2nd and 1. Coy fakes a give, rolling out, looking downfield. He's got Long in the flat. David Long will pick up the first down. Nice short little dump to David Long, moves the chains. Sherman's marching into the red zone.
Well, you run it well a couple times inside, then you go with a little play fake. They've had the most success when they've been able to move Coy out of the pocket and get the first down completion to Long. They can still get another first down inside the 5. Really important to keep the flags off the field here if you're Unioto.
1st and 10 at the 13. Orbit motion from Levi Beam. Here's a handoff to Braden. Braden up the middle, churning the legs, and down inside the 5.
That's just straight ahead smash mouth football. Here it is, stop it. They do use some formation. They do use beam, as you said, in the orbit motion just to give the defense something to look at. Maybe hold the edge a half second longer, but that's just good north-south running.
2nd and 1 at the 5. Shermans can move the chains without scoring. I formation. Now Long moves over to the left. Beam in motion again. Here's a handoff to Long. Long makes a man miss, goes down at the 1. But it will move the chains for Unioto. They'll get a new set of downs.
Yeah, just a little inside handoff. And again, all of this made possible by the Braden runs. Now if you're Unioto, you're in a great opportunity if you can stay clean in terms of your formation and snaps.
1st and goal at the 2. Coy got to keep it himself. Coy's into the end zone. Touchdown, Shermans. Isaac Coy on the sneak from 2 yards out. Unioto retakes the lead.
Big time drive from the offensive line there. How about that statement if you're Unioto? And I didn't know if they would chase the point to try to go up 3. If I think this is the right decision to go ahead and kick.
Matthew out for the extra point. Bryce Derringer will hold it down. Matthew successful on his first point after try. And he's now 2 for 2 on the night. He nails that one to put Unioto up 14-12 after a statement drive from the Shermans offense. Culminates in an Isaac Coy touchdown from 2 yards out.
Yeah, I like what you say there was statement because that's exactly what it was. I mean, you come right out of the locker room and you have to have some confidence in terms of how you were able to move the ball in the first half. You obviously had the turnover and the mistake there that ended up giving East the short field. They capitalized from it, but, you come back out after some adjustments there and you just get real physical at the point of attack and run it north-south, and didn't take them long to get in the end zone at all. Now let's see if East can respond a little bit.
And what I'm noticing, just looking on this Unioto sideline, there's this new energy that I didn't really see in the end of the first half. Kind of wondered, they lose their dynamic star, Jackson Zikafus. They come out in the second half, they say, we're playing for 24.
Well, the way I would describe Jackson Zikafus to people is he may not be the absolute best player. He's a really good player on all the teams. But I'll tell you, the football team will tell you, the baseball team will tell you, the basketball team will tell you, he's kind of the engine that makes us go. So a lot of times you lose your emotional leader like that, and you kind of come together in the locker room, and you're like, okay, guys, who's going to step up? And right now we're seeing a number of Unioto kids that's answered the bell here out of the locker room.
Matthew to boot it away. It's a nice kick. Fielded at about the 7 by Royster. Royster trying to work upfield, stiff arms, and runs into a man, goes down at about the 23-yard line. Lake and Langolf got in the way of Royster and stops the return. And the East offense will start their first drive of the second half at their own 23.
Carson, now it's the Unioto defensive side of the ball that has to respond and keep this momentum going. If you're East, you want to come out. You started to find some things there in the second quarter and started to create some big play opportunities.
Blake Braden, the high safety for the Shermans. First down, swing pass out to Royster. Royster makes a man miss, and watch out. Tajon Royster picks up the first down. Catches it in the backfield on the swing pass. Makes a man miss. Shows off the speed to move the chains.
Yeah, up over 100 yards now on the evening. Royster also had that 49-yard touchdown, and they've just been able to formation him into space, and he's really becoming a problem for Unioto.
First and 10 at the 39. Here's a pass to Matlock. It's incomplete. They'll say it hit the ground before Matlock could corral it.
12 of 20 through the air there in the first half, well up over 100 yards. Did have the interception late in the half, but had the 2 touchdowns. Had the big play to Royster, and then remember the 2-yard out route to Matlock down on the goal line.
Hansard coming into this game, 1,520 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions through 11 games. Second and 10 at the 39. Hansard again to throw. He's got a man, Daquan Lindsay, on the outside. He couldn't haul it in.
Huge break for Unioto there because, again, he turns upfield. He has space, and he's in a one-on-one opportunity. Unioto starting to ask a lot of their outside skill guys in some one-on-one areas. And now I have noticed them trying to bring a little bit more pressure in the middle. Third down and a passing down. Let's see if Unioto dials up a little bit more pressure. That last time it was Braden on the blitz.
Cowbells out on this Unioto side of the bleachers. Third and 10 at the 39. Hansard under pressure, rolling. He's got Lindsay again open, and this time he hauls it in, still going. Lindsay down at the 30. Unioto's saying the ball came out. I think Lindsay dropped down to his knees beforehand. Nonetheless, a big pickup and a great connection from Hansard to Lindsay, who was wide open.
Yeah, Long was coming hard up the middle. They did a pretty good job of picking him up. And, again, the ability just to step a little bit to the side and extend the play a half second, and the guy comes wide open for him, about a 31-yard gain.
Now first and 10 at the 32. They'll hand it off. It's Edwards. Edwards trying to work upfield, runs into traffic, and goes down Bryce Jarvis. There to meet him just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Carson, that's what you and I talked about in the first half. That particular run play right there has been their bread and butter throughout the year. If you watch them on film, Unioto's had that pretty well bottled up this evening, but it's been more in the passing game. Their inability to get to the quarterback, I think, is putting a lot of pressure on their secondary to try to stay matched up with these incredible skill kids.
Second and 9 now. Royster in the backfield behind Hansard. Hansard drops back to throw under pressure. He's got Royster wide open. It's deflected by Judah Zickafoos. Hansard underthrew that pass. He had Royster wide open, and it gave Judah Zickafoos enough time to bat it down.
Well, Jarvis and Renner got home there, so there's the difference we're talking about. That ball's underthrown because he takes quite a shot at the point of release. Both Renner and Jarvis got into the backfield, and as a result, that ball had a lot more air under it, probably, as you said, underthrown. Good hustle from Zickafoos to recover and knock it away.
Now third and 9 at the 31, empty backfield for the Tigers. They've had a lot of big third down conversions here. Hansard to throw, and this time it's almost intercepted by Lake, and Langolf threw it right to him, and he just couldn't haul it in. 4th down.
Yeah, again, nice pressure in the middle and good coverage on the back end. I would say from the 30 here, this is that area where you're definitely going to go for. It doesn't really do you a whole lot of good to punt. So big play here. Great opportunity for the Unioto defense.
The big pickup from Daquan Lindsay got the Tigers to this position. Unioto's defense trying to stand its ground. Play is blown dead on 4th down. And Columbus East is going to burn a timeout.
You never know. Once you get into the second half of these football games, the timeouts become a little bit more valuable. So we'll see if that plays a role later on. Obviously, I don't fault the timeout. If you don't like your look on a 4th down play, you got to make sure you're on the same page. But again, just kind of mark that in the notebook because that could come back to play a big role later on.
Once again, this Unioto defense, again, backs against the wall. East driving. 2 very big defensive stops. The deflection by Judah Zikafus, and then the shot to the end zone broken up by Langolf. These guys making plays when they need it the most.
Well, and again, it's the complementary football because I felt like the last 2 times they started to apply a little bit of pressure in the middle. Unioto trying to get something from its front 4, also sending long on most plays into various gaps and trying to get home there. So when you look up front, Jarvis and Renner, James and Howard, can they apply enough pressure from 4? Let's see if they bring long again this time on the pressure.
5 wide set for East, 4th and 9. Hansard under pressure, throwing down the middle. It's broken up and incomplete. Lake and Langolf again in the coverage, breaks up the intended pass for Royster. And another turnover on downs for the Unioto defense.
Yeah, and Unioto just has some young kids really stepping up in the secondary. That time they did bring 6, and the ball came out and just went up, made a real nice play on the football, and you get the turnover on downs. Now let's see if the Unioto offense can go back to the run game and get something established here. A lot of momentum on the Unioto side.
Shermans with another huge stop on defense. Can their offense capitalize and go up 2 scores? 1st and 10 at the 30. Beam in motion. Coy will hand it off. It's Cody Braden. Braden with a nice game, but a flag down in the backfield.
Yeah, the flag, couple different flags come in and felt like it was a pretty obvious hold the way both officials reacted right away. And boy, is that a big penalty because that was going to be about probably an 8-9 yard run on 1st down. Instead, you're going to back it up and go about 1st and about 20 by the time you get back there.
It will replay the down as a holding drives Unioto back 10 yards. It'll be 1st down and 20.
Carson, you and I talk about it every week. If people haven't been with us, goes down as a 10-yard penalty. Really, it's about an 18-yard penalty when you think of where the run ended up going.
1st and 20 at the 20. Coy fakes the give, going to keep it himself. Isaac Coy gets a nice gain of about 5 before he gets dropped by Daquan Lindsay.
Coy very capable of doing that. Good ball handling. Gives them some inside run presence, just enough to keep them on balance so that they can't sell out on Braden. Also be aware of Beam. I know they use him in a lot of those motions, that they will pitch that ball out in front to him a little bit and try to get him to the edge.
The winner of this game will face the winner of New Lexington and Fairfield Union. New Lex in control in that one, 39-0 late in the 3rd quarter. Coy rolling out on 2nd and 15, throws to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Intended for Levi Beam. And just a throwaway there from Coy brings up 3rd and 15.
Yeah, Beam got tangled up with the defender over on the side, but But again, trying to move the pocket, just not a lot there. Made the right decision to throw it away. And here you are in the 3rd and long. And keep in mind, where did all this come from? It comes from that first down penalty.
We talked about in the pregame about mistakes and being able to avoid them being a key in this game. Unioto looking to climb out of the hole they dug with that first penalty. 3 on the play clock. Sherman's going 5 wide. Coy to throw. He's got Beam in the flat, but he stopped immediately after the catch. Sir McKinney flying over to wrestle Beam down, and Unioto will send out the punt team on 4th and long.
Yeah, good tackle in space and a good job there from the East defense. Following that penalty, they were able to bottle up Unioto and going to be able to get their offense back on the field here with pretty good field position as long as they don't have a special teams miscue.
Long out to punt it away on 4th and 12. It's a good punt over to the east sideline. Michael Thompson Ayers fields it at the 30 and gets upfield, lowers his shoulder, and gets driven out of bounds. Walker Sams flies down the field in coverage. He's fired up after making that hit.
Again, Unioto's problem, I'm not being sarcastic when I say Unioto's almost punted as many times tonight as they have all year, but that shows you that is another weapon in the kicking game. We talk a lot about Maffey in the kicking game. Let's include Long in the punt game. That certainly field position-wise was a big-time boot and good coverage.
And talk about the coverage. You said that for a little bit, Shane. The coverage on this Unioto punt team has been why this special teams unit has been so effective. 1st and 10, Hansard to throw. He gets dropped.
Ball's out.
The ball comes out. It looked like the Tigers still have it. Hansard dropped back to throw, gets dropped from behind. The ball comes out. Luckily for East, they're able to hold on to it. As another Sherman is down. Appears to be David Long getting stretched out by the training staff. And while he is getting looked at, we will quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School playoff football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
Back here at Unioto, David Long, the Sherman shaken up after the last play. He walks off on his own. He appears to be okay. Good sign for David Long and for Unioto.
Yeah, Long's a guy that plays a lot of snaps. He's involved in the physicality in the run game, lead blocker. He'll go out and catch some passes. Obviously a huge part of defense, and then even on special teams, as we've already talked about. So he stays pretty busy throughout the Friday night for his Unioto team.
Second down after East avoids a near disaster. 2nd and 11 from the 34. Hansard to throw. He's got Thompson Ayers on the screen pass. And watch out, he's got some room. Down the sideline, Michael Thompson Ayers inside the 30. Or they'll say he stepped out back at the 32. Nonetheless, an electric catch and run for Michael Thompson Ayers puts the Tigers back in enemy territory.
Well, we've seen throughout the evening the way East comes in with some package of different offensive sets to get him the football, and you can see why.
The catch and run from the freshman puts the Tigers at the Unioto 32. This is where East got on their last drive before they stalled out. Here's a screen pass to Royster, and he's blown up behind the line by Lakin Langhoff and Luke Howard. Lakin Langhoff got subbed in the second half after the injury to Jackson Zikafus. It's no doubt he's already making his presence known here in the second half.
Well, and that was what I was alluding to on the last drive. You got a lot of youth back there in that Unioto secondary right now, and And so far they've been able to answer the bell, because when you talk about getting thrown into the fire against the skill talent of this East Tigers team.
Royster in motion on second down. Hansard to throw. Hansard rolling out. He's going to do it himself. Hansard gets pushed out of bounds by Braden Harsha at around the 27. Called a gain of 6 on the keeper.
Yeah, flushed him out of the pocket that time, and as I said earlier, he doesn't run it a ton, but when he does, it's usually pretty effective, and there's certainly a good pickup to put it back in third and extremely manageable.
Scoring update down in Jackson. Miami Trace ahead of Jackson 14-10 at the end of the third quarter.
Wow.
Division III Region 12 action. 3rd and 5 at the 28. Hansard looking, taking a shot across the field. It's hauled in, no, incomplete. Daquan Lindsay had it and then lost it. As he tried to turn up field, couldn't hang on to it. And that brings up 4th down.
Carson, that's happened 2 or 3 times here in the third quarter, and those are big plays. That's an easy first down, and the drive's going on. And now, if you're Unioto, Long is returned to the lineup. He's there trying to get his guys fired up. They got another 4th down chance to maybe get the ball back again.
Yeah, you mentioned, Shane, a couple times they've tried to go to Lindsay on those crossing routes. Just can't haul it in, gets a little too excited. Got to haul it in first. 4th and 5 at the 27. And we're going to have another called timeout by Mike Bell and the Tigers.
All of a sudden, just 1 remaining, and we're still here in the third quarter. The reason I mentioned that earlier, Carson, a lot of times you get into these one-possession games into the fourth quarter, and you desperately could need those timeouts. So that continues to add up as a factor that we'll keep an eye on. But obviously, right now, this play becomes the biggest play. And if you're East, you're just trying to figure out a way to move the chains. If you're Unioto, you're trying to kill the drive on downs, just as you were able to do earlier here in the quarter.
What I was saying earlier is on their first drive of the half, East got down to almost this exact same spot. The drive stalled, had a couple drops, and Unioto also made some really good plays on defense. Almost a similar situation here.
It really is almost the exact same situation. And here, if you're Unioto, I think you've got to be able to try to get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback while still containing him in the pocket. And that's obviously easier said than done. So let's see what Unioto dials up here.
Empty backfield for Dior Hansard. 4th and 5. 4 wide on the far sideline. Hansard drops back, steps up, trying to do it himself, and he goes down. Bryce Jarvis and Daquan James. Tag team for a 4th down stop. Unioto, another turnover on downs for this defense.
Yeah, just big time discipline on the rush. Just as I was saying, it's not an easy thing to do, because you're trying on the snap to get some penetration. You're trying to get to the quarterback. There it looked like he wanted to step up and see if he could run forward, and just a great job by James and company to make sure that he couldn't get out.
Unioto once again takes over at the 30. Bryce Jarvis, the first team All-SVC member, with a clutch 4th down stop. 3:07 remaining, 1st and 10. There's a handoff to Braden. Braden doesn't get much on the carry, called a gain of 1 as he's wrestled down by Lindsay.
It's just going to be a big thing to watch to see where can the Unioto offense come from. They've had trouble in the pass game protecting Coy. They've tried to roll him out some. Obviously, Braden's been their workhorse in between the tackles most of the night, but the speed of East makes it really difficult for Unioto to get anything to the outside. So it really comes down to, can they run this football north and south?
I formation on 2nd down for the Shermans. Coy fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right, looking downfield. He's got beam, incomplete through his hands.
Got a flag in the backfield, and this is an interesting call here. They're going to go holding on Unioto, and it was kind of interesting because they were trying to pull They were trying to pull Stockridge around to the outside on the design rollout, and he kind of got tangled up a little bit with the defender. So now they're going to figure out, do they want to go ahead and move them back, or do they want to make this 3rd and 9? Oh, blocking the back. So they did get him on the pull. That was an interesting call there because he was pulling around and got caught in traffic.
So that'll move Unioto back a little further. Credit Kenyon Downing on the coverage on that incompletion. Will be 2nd and 19 now from the 21. Sherman's going 5 wide. Coy in the backfield by himself. 4 on the play clock. Coy drops back. Rolling out, he's under pressure. Coy looking downfield, going for Beam once again, and this time he hauls it in. Levi Beam with a grown man catch. Sherman's in enemy territory. 2nd time tonight we've seen Levi Beam go up, haul it in with 2 hands, and come down with 2 feet.
Yeah, that's a big-time throw and catch there. Coy flushed out of the pocket on the run. Throws it up, gives his guy a chance to make a play, and you're right, Beam now a couple times on the evening. And you talk about flipping field position, now you're onto the plus side as the clock is at 2:09 3rd quarter. Let's see if Unioto can get the run game going here again.
Sherman's now at the 46. Here's a 1st down carry to Braden. Braden gets a nice gain up the middle. About 6 yards on the 1st down carry.
See, Carson, that's the formula for success. Winning 1st down. When they're able to run it 5-6 yards there on 1st down, it just opens up the entire playbook. They've got to stay out of these 2nd and long, 3rd and long. And they're starting to crawl into that 4-down territory.
You get the sense that this is the drive where Unioto's really going to separate and try to pull away. 90 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 4. Here's another handoff to Braden. Braden up the middle, gets just enough to move the chains.
Well, now once they set the change, going to take this clock all the way down to under a minute in the 3rd quarter. And as you start to grind the run game a little bit, you start to do the math. If Unioto would be able to go down and put this thing in the end zone, the extra point would push this to a 2-possession game, which we have not had the entire evening.
1st and 10 at the 35 now. Coy fakes the handoff. Dropping back, he's got Harsha wide open, diving for it, but it's incomplete. An outstanding effort by Braden Harsha. Just couldn't haul it in. Would have sent this crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah, they had what they wanted, a little stop-go on the outside. Coy with the good shoulder fake there, and they ended up biting on it. A fraction out in front of him, almost on the dive, able to haul it in, and great opportunity there for Unioto.
We've seen that play drawn up for Jackson Zikafus a lot this season. The freshman Braden Harsha almost with a spectacular catch. Here's a 2nd and 10 carry from Cody Braden as multiple flags come out after he's brought down by Darian Matlock.
Yeah, they're going to have a hold there on Unioto. Carson, what I'm seeing here is when Unioto even tries to run it partially east-west or to the edge, the quickness of east is really causing a problem for Unioto up front. Unioto's had its best success when they've been able to get everything going north-south and running it right at them.
Clock continuing to run, 2nd and 19 again for the Shermans. Unioto at the very least will have to run one more play here in the 3rd quarter. Here's another handoff to Braden. Braden trying to follow his blockers. Doesn't get much on that carry. Wrestled down by a herd of Tigers. Keith Phillips One of the men in on the stop. And we'll have a stoppage in play here with 11.4 left in the third quarter.
What's the stop for? I thought that was going to take us to the end of the quarter.
It's a great question.
I think that's why Unioto was.
They're saying it's the play clock, but they don't need to start the play clock when.
There they go, and I think it's going to go and take us to the quarter.
Think maybe just to clarify, they didn't need to start the play clock, and they'll let this game clock run down to the end of the third quarter. The Unioto Shermans holding on to a 2-point lead over Columbus East, looking to put the Tigers away and advance to the regional semifinal. 1 quarter remaining here at Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School playoff football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
One quarter of football remaining here at Unioto. This second round matchup in Division 4, Region 15. The winner of tonight's contest will travel to Jim Rockwell Stadium in New Lexington next Friday night for a matchup with the 1-seeded New Lexington Panthers. Unioto looking to book that spot themselves. They look to put away Columbus East, but they faced a 3rd and 17 at the 42. Coy dropping back, surveying, firing for Beam on the sideline. Did he haul it in? Yes, he did, but he will be very short of the line to gain. 4th down, but it's 4th and manageable for the Shermans.
Well, it certainly is. That's a big play there because it cuts into the down and distance a little bit, and looks like we have an injured Tiger right down here on the Unioto sideline. So it's going to come up to about a 4th and 7.
As we have a stoppage in play as the injured Tiger gets attended to here on the Unioto sideline. We'll quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School playoff football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
11:52 remaining here in this Division 4 Region 15 second round matchup. As we have another injury timeout, Unioto facing a 4th and 7 after Levi Beam hauls in a 10-yard grab to go from 3rd and 17 to 4th and 7, a much more manageable 4th down attempt.
Yeah, Carson, I could not get a number on the East player who's down. I know that's where the catch ended up happening over there, where Beam was keeping the feet in play, and then with all the Unioto kids standing on the sideline there, I could not see who ended up going down. Obviously, our concern is for that young man.
Absolutely, and for everybody who's fought, battled through this game, some people going down. That's Darian Matlock, one of the guys that has been on all sides of the field for the Tigers tonight. He's had a pretty excellent night with a touchdown grab, made some big plays on the defensive side of the ball as well. Certainly, from a football standpoint, a guy you hate to lose if you're East.
I know you were telling me he holds an offer from Ohio University. I certainly could see why. with his versatility on the football field, his ability to do a lot of different things.
So Matlock will make his way off the field to get checked out by the training staff as both teams retake the field. It's 4th and 7 for Unioto at the East 32. And Shane, that New Lexington Fairfield Union game has gone final. New Lexington with a 39-0 win over the Fairfield Union Falcons, which solidifies the location of the winner of this game, where they will go next week. 4th and 7 at the 32. Coy dropping back. He's flushed. Now he's rolling out to his right. Fires downfield. It's incomplete. Intended for Cody Braden. Levi Beam also in the vicinity. I think both of those guys wanted a pass interference, but they will not get it. And East defense now flips the script on Unioto, gets a turnover on downs in enemy territory.
Yeah, good job by East defense. There was a little bit of contact downfield, but I think at all parts of that route combination, there was a play being made on the football. So a lot of times you get your eyes back on the quarterback, and if they feel like you're playing the football, they'll kind of let a little bit of that contact go. And again, the slick field plays a little bit of a role. You got a lot of bodies flying around, people starting to lose some footing. So, reset this here, early fourth quarter. Now it's going to be the East offense. Unioto's defense has been up to the challenge most of the night. Let's see if they're up to it one more time here.
East has put together 2 really good drives in this half. They have not been able to finish. Let's see if they can capitalize here. Here's a first down screen pass to Royster. Tried to break free. Only gets a couple extra yards after being brought down by Bryce Jarvis.
Again, you understand the strategy. They're just going to throw it out there to Royster, try to get the ball in his hands outside as quick as they can. And Unioto have been pretty sure tacklers to this point on the evening. The one time they lost him, it was actually downfield a little bit more on that 49-yard touchdown. Royster well up over 100 yards on the evening as a receiver.
2nd and 8, trips on the near side. Hansard to throw. It's hauled in on the far sideline by Michael Thompson-Ayers. Called a gain of about 3 on the catch. 3rd down at the 37.
Yeah, just like that, back to a 3rd down spot, and pressure back on the East offense to convert here. It would be an awfully gutsy call to roll the dice on a 4th down situation on this negative side of the field.
Edwards in the backfield to the right of Hansard. Hansard to throw on 3rd and 6. He's under pressure, and he's dropped by a trio of Shermans: Bryce Jarvis, Jacob Renner, and Luke Howard. All in on the sack, and it's 4th down.
And Carson, it continues to be the pressure that Long is kind of picking his spots. He's the one that got into the backfield, made him step up, and then from there, as you said, he had some friends waiting on him, and they've done a really good job of being able to keep him in the pocket, but then once he steps up in the pocket, not letting him out there, and some big plays from the defensive front for Unioto.
The strength, the physicality of this Unioto defensive front has been top-notch all night long. And East is going to get a delay of game on the punt. You can see Unioto trying to pull away here. They're getting their stops on defense. Now when they get the ball back, can they finally put a drive together and put this thing away? Here's the punt from East. Harsha back to return, fields it at the 40. Harsha's got a nice open lane on the sideline. Harsha still going out of bounds inside the 25. Braden Harsha fields it on the run, makes it look easy. And the Shermans in prime position to punch it in and pull away to go up 2 scores.
Well, what a big-time play from the rookie there. You know, again, in replacing Jackson Zikafus, the dynamic leader of Unioto. With his buddy out, Harsha steps up, makes a great play coming up and fielding that ball on the run, and then got him all the way down into the to the 25 here. Great opportunity for Unioto to stretch this thing out to a 9-point advantage and make it 2 possessions.
Unioto in search of its 2nd playoff win in school history. 1st and 10 at the 25. Here's Braden up the middle, stumbles and goes down after a gain of about 2 or 3.
You know, Carson is pretty much 4-down territory because I don't know. Got another Tiger down there. I don't know what the field goal would really accomplish. We haven't seen a ton of kicking game from East on film this week, and we haven't even watched them line up for an extra point tonight. So stretching this thing out from 2 to 5, I don't know what that would really accomplish. I think it would be worth it on most 4th down distances to go ahead and try to punch it in the end zone. Would you agree?
I would agree, and you know that's not to discredit the leg of Liam Matthew, but as you mentioned, you'd be going from a 2-score game to a 5-point game. That's still an instance where East could go down, score a touchdown, and regardless of what they do after, they'd be in the lead.
Right. So again, with that in mind, I think if you can stay in a pretty favorable down and distance, you'll see Unioto make this 4-down territory and really try to go put this thing away with a score.
The injured man for East is back up and moving. Sir McKinney was down. He walks off under his own power. Certainly a good sight if you're East.
Great player. Man, I've enjoyed watching him on film this week. If you weren't with us in the pregame, I think he has like 3 of those defensive touchdowns himself throughout the year.
Had a pick 6 in the win over Northland. He had 2 defensive touchdowns in the Northland game on an interception and a fumble. 2nd and 7 at the 23. Here's Braden again. Braden gets a block working upfield, taken down near the 10. Moves the chains once more for the Shermans. And that extra insurance touchdown well within reach. 1st and goal at the 10.
Man, I just can't say enough about the versatility of this offensive line. See how he got Stottridge out there in front of him and just put his hand right on his back and said, lead the way, big fella.
It'll actually be 1st and 10 from the 11, so an extra yard to spare for Unioto. Braden and Long both in the backfield behind Coy. 1st down handoff, Braden up the middle, gets tripped up and goes down around the 7-yard line. Shamarian Coleman on the stop.
So again, the goal is to stay positive on every run, keep the flags off the field. We've watched how a couple penalties have really hurt both teams on some drives tonight. If you're Unioto, you get a 3-yard gain there on the 1st down. As we talked about, the time and score probably makes this 4-down territory regardless of what they end up on in a 4th down situation.
I'll mark it at the 8, 2nd and 7. Braden, the deep man in the eye. They'll toss it out to Braden. On 2nd down, he gets tripped up again. After a short gain, Jazuan Martin was the first Tiger in on the stop. Brings up 3rd down.
I'd say it's going to be about 6 to go. Pay attention to Coy as a runner here. Obviously, all defensive eyes are going to be on number 20, and rightfully so, as he's coming up on about 30 carries tonight. But watch the ability of Coy with his feet. It's an underestimated part of his game.
3rd and 7 from the 8. They'll hand it off to Braden. Braden up the middle, breaks free, touchdown Unioto. Cody Braden from 7 yards out. And an extra point away from going out 2 scores. Cody Braden putting the team on his back.
Yeah, what a gutsy performance. You're talking about a young man who was hurt early in their win over Westfall back in Week 10. They weren't 100% sure he was going to be able to play. If it would have been last week, he probably wouldn't have been able to. And not only has he played tonight, he's carried it almost 30 times, and he's just been the entire workload for Unioto.
Matthew for the extra point, and he splits the uprights. It's good, and the Shermans take a 2-score lead with 6:50 to go. 21-12, Unioto leading Columbus East in this Division IV Region 15 second round matchup. We'll quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School playoff football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
21-12, Unioto with its largest lead of the night after a 7-yard touchdown run from Cody Braden. His second score of the night. Unioto with the 2-score lead, 6:50 to go. We were talking about, could the Shermans put that drive together to pull away? And that was it, set up by the punt return from Braden Harsha as well.
Still a lot of time on the clock when you consider the big play capability of East.
Kick fielded by Matlock at the 1. Matlock trying to work upfield, gets to the outside, goes out of bounds at the 23, and a flag down after the return.
This could be a big field position call here, Carson. Right now they got the ball marked at about the 24.
Going to be holding against East. So it depends on where they'll spot it after the penalty. We'll go from the end of the play, so they will start East at the 14-yard line.
Again, the weapon of Liam Mathey kicks it all the way down to the 1. They choose to go ahead and field it there so they can give one of their return men a chance. You certainly understand why when you see some of their ability throughout the year. But then you add in the penalty there and got them backed up deep. But again, a lot of football to play here with the home run ability of this East offense.
Tigers going 5 wide. Hansard to throw. I got a man. It's incomplete and almost intercepted by Blake Braden. Went right through the hands of Thompson Ayers. And Blake Braden was there, would have been the dagger had he hauled in the pick.
Carson, I feel like if East doesn't come back to win this game tonight, the thing that they're going to really look back upon is just their ability to catch the football and hang on to it, because we've watched them run in space and they've really cost themselves 3 or 4 opportunities for some huge plays where they haven't been able to catch the football and just hang on to it.
2nd and 10 from the 14. Same 5 wide look for the Tigers. Hansard taking a shot downfield, and it's caught down the seam. Daquan Lindsay extends his body for a sliding grab.
Just as I say that, how about the catch of the evening? Young man dives straight out, hauls it in, and hangs on to it all the way down to about the 41 there. Going to call that about a 27-yard completion.
There was pass interference called against Unioto. Obviously, the penalty declined after Daquan Lindsay hauls in a 27-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the 41. Edwards in the backfield. Hansard drops back. He's got a man intended for Kenyon Downing. It's incomplete, and another flag down. We're going to get another block below the waist. So just when East moves down the field after a huge catch by Lindsey, almost gets negated in a way after the penalty.
Now Unioto pretty much has them into one-dimensional now, and they've really been coming with some pretty good pressure. Obviously, that front four we've been highlighting throughout the evening with Howard, James, Jarvis, and Renner. But if you watch right in the middle of the defense, number 10, David Long, you also see 25 Zikafus, and they're taking some spots to come after the quarterback. There goes Long again.
1st and 25. Hansard trying to set up a screen. It's incomplete. Tried to dump it off to Dominique Edwards on the screen, and the Sherman defense blew it up.
Yeah, Edwards was trying to maybe pick up and chip a little bit there on the rush, and then as a result of the contact, couldn't get out into his pass route.
Scoring update from Jackson, our Derek Webb down there covering Miami Trace and Jackson. 35 seconds left in the game. Bodie Wolford hits Ryan Simons for a 16-yard touchdown. Ironman with a 24-21 lead.
That certainly doesn't surprise you that those two guys would be in the middle of a clutch play.
2nd and 25. Hansard looking to throw again. He gets hit and the ball comes out. Unioto says they have it. There's a pile and it goes to Unioto. Jacob Renner brought the pressure. This Unioto defensive line again comes up with another huge play, and this time they force a turnover.
Yeah, I just can't say enough about the front four as well as the linebackers, really front 6 or 7 for Unioto, the way they've really flipped this game in the second half. They've been terrific, and it's been taking some pressure off of the really young secondary. And remember a couple things now. Not only is it 2 possession, remember I talked about make note of those timeouts that East had to use earlier. Here we are at 6:09. East only has the ability to stop it one more time, Carson. So ball security becomes huge for Unioto.
1st and 10 at the 24. They'll go back to Braden. Braden gets forward a couple yards before he's driven back. And he's dropped after the play. That's going to be some extra yardage. Some extra contact after the whistle will add to the run from Cody Braden.
Yeah, obviously a costly flag there for the Tigers. And again, if you're Unioto, the clock starts to become your friend here, and you've got to really make sure you take care of the football.
Penalty moves Unioto up to around the 13-yard line.
Clock back in motion. They have another 20 seconds here if they want to run that down. Let's see if Coy decides to wait just a little longer. Looks like he is. This is really good clock management from Coy in the offense.
Now 7 on the play clock. 1st and 10. Welch in motion. They'll go to Braden once again. Braden up the middle, goes down after a gain of about 1. Jayzwan Martin in on the tackle.
And again, as emotions start getting high, this is where you really got to compose yourself after the whistle. If you're Unioto, you can't afford anything that's going to stop that clock. So now they're back in the huddle. If they do this right, they're going to take it all the way down almost to 4:50 before they snap it again.
Call it no gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Orbit motion from Beam, he slipped. They'll go back to Braden again. He gets taken down just shy of the 5-yard line by Royster. Levi Beam tried to orbit motion, and he got, I guess not the turf monster, guess the grass monster got him. Nonetheless, Cody Braden gets a little over halfway there, 3rd and 4 from the 6. $10 on the play clock, 4:15 remaining here in this Division IV second-round matchup. 3 on the play clock. Beam in motion. Here's a touch pass to Beam. Beam gets to the outside, takes a big hit from Royster at the 3. And they stop him short of the line to gain. What a play by Tajon Royster, stopping him just short.
Yeah, big-time hit. 1 yard short, and again, just doing the math, I don't know what the field goal really does here in terms of number of possessions. So if you're Unioto, makes it a pretty easy decision, I think.
Exactly 4 minutes remaining, 6 on the play clock. 4th and 1. 1 on the play clock. And Matt Hoots will call a timeout here to avoid the delay of game. It's the first timeout called by Unioto here in the second half. 4th and 1 from the 3 awaits the Shermans.
Carson, it looked like he wanted to do was the look where he motions his quarterback Coy out of there and direct snap it to Braden. I don't know if he was just looking to see what kind of defensive reaction he'd get, or like you said, because of the play clock, wasn't going to have time to let all that develop and had to bail his guys out with the timeout.
Unioto gained its largest lead of the night after a 7-yard touchdown run from Cody Braden on their last possession. A score here would all but put the nails in the coffin.
Certainly would, and Unioto in these short yard situations, obviously with their offensive line, they'll get David Long up in there, and he'll kind of lead the way a little bit, and you got Renner into the game. All of these guys just give you a little bit more. Renner's going to step back out of that huddle to the side. So again, it looks like Howard in the game, and he'll give them a little bit of extra blocking there as you anticipate the ball going to Braden, but you never know what Unioto might have in mind here.
Braden and Long in the backfield, 4th and 1. Coy fakes the give, rolling out, still on his feet, makes a man miss. Isaac Coy still going, taken down from behind. It's all going to depend on the spot.
Big time effort just to make it this close. If East comes up with a stop, they're still in it. If not, it's going to be really difficult.
Our officiating crew gathers to discuss the spot. Could we get a measurement? They will bring the chain gang out to measure.
So Carson, they show the handoff inside and get him out to the edge, and it was just a great effort to make a couple guys miss just to get it back to this close. Again, this measurement is almost the ball game. If East can get it back, they still have a chance.
Here's the spot, and he's just short. The East defense backs against the wall, shuts Unioto out of the end zone, and with 3:50 left, they're going to have at least one more chance on offense.
Yeah, big time stop from the East defense. Give them credit. No quit in the Tigers. So now we've highlighted their home run capabilities all night. So even though they've got their backs to the goal line, it just takes one big play, and Carson, all of a sudden, we'd be staring at an onside kick in a one-possession game.
The Tigers will have 96 yards to work with. 1st and 10 at their own 4. 3:50 remaining. As you mentioned, Shane, they need a touchdown and an onside kick. Got to take it one drive at a time. 4 wide on the near side for the Tigers. Edwards in motion. Hansard looking to throw. He's got Edwards backside, incomplete. A nice play design from the Tigers, motioning Edwards from left to right, setting him on the wheel route. Just couldn't connect.
Yeah, and as the night's gone on, the footing has been an issue, and then just the overall ball security of just catching the ball cleanly on a lot of situations.
Brings up 2nd and 10. Twins on both sides for the Tigers. They have not lost a game since week 2, won 9 in a row since. Season on the line. Hansard drops back, got a man over the middle. It's Lindsey, knocked away. Broken up by Jack Weingartner. Goes up and knocks the ball out of the hands of the 6'4 senior, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, great job from Weingartner. Timed it up well, went and played the football. And Unioto 2 more stops away from all but ending this one.
Third and 10. 5 wide for the Tigers. Hansard in the backfield by himself. He'll drop back to throw again, taking a shot on the far sideline. Broken up by Harsha, incomplete. Braden Harsha, the big-time deflection. And now it's 4th in the ball game for East.
Carson, how about the confidence they show in the freshman out there one-on-one, and he's up to the challenge. I mean, that's a big-time play.
Braden Harsha, the true freshman. There's going to be a penalty on Unioto. Wow, and that's going to give East a first down.
Yeah, watching the fun one-on-one matchup up the side, I did not see the flag come in back all the way at the line of scrimmage. You're right. A little bit of breathing room, and if you're East, you have a few minutes even to try to go get the ball in the end zone because, as we said, with only one timeout, it's going to come down to an onside kick most likely anyway. So if you're East, it's all about going and getting in the end zone.
Hansard to throw again. He's got Thompson Ayers complete for a first down. After the penalty, East moves the chains once again. Pitch and catch from Hansard to Thompson Ayers. Tigers going hurry up, 1st and 10. At the 27, Hansard to throw again. He's under pressure. Rolling out, fires downfield again. It's incomplete, but a flag. They'll get Blake Braden on the pass interference intended for Dominique Edwards.
Yeah, tough call. You know, it's a bang-bang play, and the official's in a good spot to take a look, and he throws the flag out, so you just have to adjust and go on. Carson looked like Unioto was running Judas Zikafus out there just to maybe bump a little bit at the line of scrimmage, just to kind of, again, little wrinkles. I like this, what the coaches are doing just to help a little bit of the young secondary. But, man, overall, some of these kids back there in the back end have been really, really good.
East gets another first down by way of penalty. 1st and 10 at their own 42. Now or never time for the Tigers. Hansard drops back under pressure. Renner chasing him. Hansard gets away, still on his feet, firing downfield for Edwards. It's incomplete. Thompson Ayers also in the vicinity. It lands right in between the two.
I just can't tell you how difficult that is. This quarterback's really athletic, and Renner got back there and flushed him out. But give Unioto a lot of credit. They still have a lot of experience back there with Weingartner and Strange and company, and they've really been able to do a nice job chasing the speed of East around.
3 minutes left in the ball game. A lot of passes have fallen incomplete, but gotta love the arm strength of the sophomore, Dior Hansard. 2nd down, Hansard fakes the give, throws it back to Royster. It's incomplete. Trying to set up a backside screen for Royster. He has trouble hauling it in. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Carson, shout out to another Unioto alum, Chad Faulkner, listening in tonight. It's fun to hear all the different people using Sosa as an avenue to continue to follow their high school.
Also want to give a shout-out real quick to anybody from Columbus East who might be tuning in tonight. Obviously, we know not everybody can make it down. We want to thank everybody from the East community for tuning in to us tonight. 3rd and 10 at the 42. Hansard drops back. He's under pressure. Still on his feet. He throws it away. And once again, 4th and the ball game for East.
Well, you'd expect more of the same here. You expect Unioto to go ahead and try to bring some pressure. And if you're East, they're going to look to try to extend the play. And if you're Unioto, you just got to try to avoid the penalty as well.
The East Tigers trying to get back to Week 13 for the first time since 2022. Last chance to dance. Hansard drops back, taking a shot downfield, and it's intercepted. Jack Weingartner, the dagger, taken down just past midfield. And the Shermans have the ball in 2 minutes, 35 seconds to kill for a trip to the regional semifinal. Jack Weingartner's second interception of the season to put the exclamation point on this second-round playoff matchup.
Well, Weingartner and this defense all year long, again, come in only giving up 4 points a night, and obviously this was going to be their biggest test to date, and to as of now be posting a 12 up there on the guest side of the scoreboard. That's just an impressive defensive performance this evening.
Shermans start at the East 47, 2:35 to kill. Here's Braden on the first down carry, stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Daquan Lindsay, as well as Jazuan Martin, Keith Phillips, tag teaming on the tackle. Call it no gain.
Braden's coming up on about 40. He's real close to 40 carries here this evening, and now's not the time to be fighting for the extra yards. Obviously, this is where you want to have ball security, and you just want to see that clock move.
Exactly 2 minutes remaining here in this second-round playoff matchup. Unioto trying to milk the remaining time. Coy gonna keep it himself. Coy trying to follow his block. He gets taken down at around the 46-yard line. Appears to be Jabari Ray on the tackle, brings up 3rd and 9.
Braden at 35 carries unofficially is what I have him at.
Minute 20 remaining. East can only stop the clock one more time. 8 on the play clock. Third and 9, Coy dropping back. He's going to throw. He's got Harsha down the middle, and it's incomplete. A jump ball down the middle. Darian Matlock wins the battle, knocks it out of the hands of Braden Harsha. Shane, you're confused, and honestly, so am I. The incompletion stops the clock with 58.7 left.
Well, and again, with a two-possession game, unless you see something just completely insane here in the last minute of this game, it probably won't matter, but certainly interesting from a time and score standpoint. Now, if you're Unioto, you just got to make sure you snap it and get this punt off. If you're East, you're going to try to come after it and try to get a hand on it.
4th and 9, high snap. In the backfield, Long chasing it down. He falls on it inside the 30.
Well, Carson,
Chaos.
it's exactly what we were shaking our head on the 3rd down play call. So all of a sudden you stop the clock, then you snap it over your punter's head. And I know it's a long shot, but again, if you're East and you can go put the ball in the end zone, you at least have a chance to onside kick it. So we're back where we started. That's just a big-time clock miscue from the Shermans there.
The incompletion followed by the errant snap on the punt. Now sets up East at the Unioto 23, one last chance.
Worst case, you'd have made them use that last timeout. Now they're even still got the timeout on the offensive side.
Empty backfield. Hansard under pressure, trying to get away, still going, and he's dropped by Luke Howard near the 40. Big loss. East can only stop it once, and they'll burn their final timeout.
Yeah, and you look into that backfield, Jarvis and Renner and Howard. It's just been the front four we've been highlighting all night. I feel like their effort out of the locker room here in the third quarter has been a big, big game changer.
Loss of 16 on the sack from Luke Howard. 2.5 sacks on the season coming into tonight. Gets a huge sack for a loss of 16 with 44 seconds remaining. This Unioto defense has stood its ground all night when they needed to most. Trying to do it one more time.
Carson, we also talked about the importance of the kicking game and the conversion game. Imagine how different this game would feel right now at 21-13 or 21-14.
2nd and 25. Hansard fires down the seam. It's incomplete. Intended for Royster down the seam, goes through his fingertips. 3rd and 25 with 39.4 remaining. The Sherman crowd can taste a playoff victory. Well in their grasp. Their defense trying to put the exclamation point on the school's second ever playoff win. 3rd and 25. Hansard drops back, fires, got a man, incomplete. Through the hands of Dominique Edwards. And once again, 4th and the ball game for Columbus East.
Yeah, it's been the story of the second half. The ability to throw the ball out into space and East unable to haul it in and give their speed a chance to make a play after the catch.
You've had a lot of times, I think back to the third quarter when East got to around the 30 and the drive stalled, a couple drop passes, and on those you have to wonder what kind of ball game we're looking at had those drives gone differently. Last chance for East. Hansard steps up, takes a hit as he throws it. It's incomplete. And Unioto's defense answers the bell once more. And the Shermans are 28 seconds away from a trip to New Lexington.
Yeah, big-time performance out of the locker room for Unioto. They played a really good first quarter. They were in control of things. East kind of comes back and gets out in front of them a little bit. And if you're Unioto, you just really regroup well, and you come out, and I thought all phases they were really, really locked in, and they got control of it. And just going to take a knee here, and they're going to be able to really celebrate a huge step for their program.
Tigers cannot stop the clock. Isaac Coy goes to a knee, and you can put a playoff win on the board for the Shermans for just the second time in school history.
Congratulations, Coach Hoops and his kids. Big, big, big win. They beat a really talented football team tonight that come in here with 10 wins and had to come from behind in the second half to do it, and a lot to be proud of.
21-12 the final from Unioto. The Shermans are rolling into Week 13, and they'll travel to New Lexington for a matchup with the one-seeded Panthers next Friday night. (21-12) Unioto, the final here from Unioto High School. Shermans keep the perfect season alive. and get their second playoff win in school history. We'll quickly step aside and give our final thoughts on the game when we come back. You're watching Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glow Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glow Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glow Fiber. Simply brilliant.
Back here at Unioto High School, the final from this one, the Shermans take down Columbus East by a 21-12 final. Shermans improved to 11-0. The perfect season is alive, and their second playoff win in school history takes them to New Lexington for a Week 13 matchup with the one-seeded New Lexington Panthers. Shane, your thoughts on this one?
Well, I just thought it was a really complete win for Unioto, their ability to stay with it. I thought they had come out and started the game just about as perfect a script as you could imagine in preparation for the game this week. And as a result, they were up 7-0. But then back comes East and their athleticism. We highlighted a couple different things in the pregame. One of them was their home run hitting ability. The Royster kid was as advertised. Well up over 100 yards receiving, had the big 49-yard touchdown, and then later in that half they get another one. Now keep in mind, their inability to kick the extra point or get the 2-point conversion, that ended up being a huge factor in the number of possession game. The difference was into that fourth quarter. So then going in the locker room right before the half, Jackson Zickafoose with the interception. Remember, he was hurt on that play and was not going to return. So you go in the locker room and you lose one of your big-time leaders, one of your best players, and I'm sure it'd be interesting to hear from Coach Hoops. I'm sure that it brought the guys together, and they're like, look, we've worked the entire year, really, a lot of them, their entire careers for this moment. And I thought they'd come out in the third quarter. That you used the word statement on that first drive. I love the way you called that because I thought that's exactly what it was. It was offensive line. Again, let's highlight them here. Bryce Jarvis, Glenn Stottridge, Landon Caruth, Dylan Stanley, and Donzel Newland. They went to work in the workhorse. Cody Braden got in behind them, and they ends up running it over 35-plus times tonight. He gets into the end zone a couple times. The quarterback, Coy, gets in another time. Liam Matthey, again, the perfect 3 for 3 was a big factor in this, and you add it all up, and Unioto moving on.
Yeah, and for these guys to be part of just the second time ever that Unioto's won a playoff game, none of them were in the program when they won their first one back in 2020, the COVID year. What does this mean for the guys on this team, but also this program in general?
Well, I think it means a lot to the overall program. I mean, the way this stuff works is you have groups before them set the foundation and kind of get them to this stage. They weren't able to get over the hump. Now this team will be known as the one that did get over that hump. And what you have is you've got a really talented JV group who has played some stiff competition this year. You've got an undefeated junior high group, and all of those kids are watching, right? So they're watching their guys they're looking up to play in the Week 13, and you don't think they want to go and get in the weight room and do that. So that's just the way program works. You know, each step that you knock down a wall and take another step, it becomes a big factor, and that's going to kind of be the legacy that this particular group is riding. And for Columbus East, a really good season comes to an end at 10-2. They were champions of the City League North Division, won a first-round playoff game. Certainly
a great season for the Tigers under head coach Mike Bell in his 6th season.
Well, and I was really impressed with them. You know, when you turn the film on this week, athletes just jumped out all over the place, and I just thought that they were really, really good. Tonight, what happened, they had come in and they weren't able to get the run game established. They turned their sophomore quarterback loose. They ended up falling behind. He ended up having to throw it a little bit more than they wanted to, probably. I mean, I had him up over 40 dropbacks tonight, and that Unioto front four of Renner, Jarvis, James, and Howard really started to impact it a little bit. And I felt like Long started to get involved in some of the blitz game, the versatility of Judah Zikafus, and then I can't say enough about some of the young kids that stepped up in the secondary. You know, I know you still have Strange back there. You still have Weingartner, who hadn't made the big play there at the end, but man, they were calling on a lot of young kids, and I thought they were up to the challenge.
So as I said, again, Unioto will advance to Week 13, where they'll face the 1-seeded New Lexington Panthers, a 39-0 winner over Fairfield Union tonight. Should be an excellent matchup out at Jim Rockwell Stadium.
Yeah, I got to know some of the New Lex fans in our volleyball coverage there last week. I was talking about this on Overtime, and you can tell that that's a community that really thinks highly of some of these particular kids, boys and girls, that are in high school right now, and they love supporting them. What Unioto will see next week is a very passionate fan base. They'll see an incredible atmosphere, but you also know that this is a passionate fan base, and I would think that will equal an incredible atmosphere for Week 13.
Absolutely. And as for our coverage, well, the jury's still out on that. We don't know where we will be next week, but we can assure you we will keep you updated on what the rest of our football season coverage will look like. As of right now, we won't have any area teams outside of, I think, Wheelersburg hosting a game. But, again, we'll take a look at the matchups. We'll reconvene. And if we decide there's a matchup we like next week that we can make it out to, we will let you guys know from home. But certainly be sure to keep your eye out on all of our social media accounts for updates on that, and also updates for the rest of football season from guys like Derek Webb, Brock Netter, Austin Hanna. Sure, we'll have some guys out at games throughout the rest of the season as well that you can keep your eye on.
We always welcome the fan feedback. I know we still have Unioto moving on. You said Jackson survived late to move on.
Yeah.
So, again, which
I think they will, if they ended up winning, I think they will travel to London next Friday.
That'll be an outstanding matchup. So, again, there's some great football out there to still be called, and we'll do our best, if possible, to get out there and bring it to you.
Well, one final time from Unioto, the Shermans are moving on in the postseason for just the second time in school history, a 21-12 win over the Tigers of Columbus East. The perfect season still alive for the Shermans. The season for Columbus East ends at 10-2. One final time from Unioto, from our cameraman Kenneth Hay and Shane Combs, I'm Carson Francis. We thank you for tuning in to tonight's presentation of Ohio High School Playoff Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.